The main character wakes up in bed and wonders if it's already morning. The lady sits up and realizes that her whole body aches. After which she keeps thinking about whether she really fell asleep drunk and where she is anyway, because she hears the sounds of water, but there is no rain. And after that, the lady looks at her body and sees several red spots, after which she becomes completely embarrassed. The lady is shocked and wonders what happened. Of course it didn't start yesterday, but long before that. More precisely a week ago when she was reading this novel, that day the lady finally paid off all her student debts. And to celebrate, she spent 41 on fried chicken beer and a book called The Sign of Devastation and the Aftermath. This is a story about a man whose body is covered with scars, but he is very rich. Slowly fading away, he destroys himself and the world he lives in. After that, the story moves to the time when he met the main character, fell in love with her, and showered her with money. Or rather, they began a romantic time. The lady understood that being showered with money was the best thing that could happen. The book was good, and soon, under the influence of alcohol, the lady fell asleep. But when she woke up, she discovered that she had become Amelia Dine, that is a secondary character in the novel. And what's more, this girl was a countess who was the only daughter of the knight's commander. However, she is extremely beautiful, which pleases. She has designed it simply a sight to behold. However, soon the lady came to terms with her current situation, and she decided to visit the bank with other counts to find out if she had any debts. But when the girl looked at the bank statement, she began to lose her senses. Her relatives immediately became worried about her. The girl understood that she had just paid off her student debts, and now she owed someone again. The current figures were nowhere near her student debt, so she would have to work day and night for the rest of her life to pay it off. A little while later, people were already in the tavern and understood that it was better not to think about such things soberly. She knows that alcohol is her problem, and now, sitting on the bed, Letty thinks that alcohol is the spawn of the devil, or even the devil himself. Now her head is splitting and her body is aching, and the lady is wondering if it was because of the drink that she was transported there. After which the girl notices something else and thinks about who she slept with, but she has no memories of this. But when the lady lifts the clothes from the chair, she sees a painfully familiar coat of arms there, after which she remains completely silent. The girl realizes that this is the coat of arms of the Duke of Childe's family, from a book called The Sign of Devastation and Consequences. And in this family only one person carries this banner. It is Killian Child. The guy at this time enters the room with only a towel around his waist. The main character looks at him and becomes embarrassed, but at that very moment the guy addresses her as his little sister and wishes her good morning. Amelia thinks that she is somehow even pleased, but at the same moment she realizes the whole situation. The lady can't believe that he called her sister and wonders if he was like that in the book. And the brunette at this time asks if she is okay and if something is wrong. The girl becomes embarrassed by this, after which she turns around and claims that she is fine. The lady understands that she needs to put everything in its place because now she is Amelia Dine and he is Killian Child. He is the youngest of 4 sons who went to any lengths to survive. The guy is a duke and also a monster who continued to live despite threats to the contrary. That is why he started a war during which many people and entire countries were plunged into eternal sleep and disappeared. Therefore, it could not happen that a simple duchess, not even the main character who has a lot of debts, could communicate with him. The girl says that she does not remember what happened yesterday, but it was fun. And since it's already morning, she won't waste the guy's time and goes to her room. But at that very moment, the lady sees someone's hand stopping her. The brunette claims that this is suspicious because the lady said last night that she liked him. The main character asks if this is true and if she really said that, to which he replies that yes, and he replies in kind. She also said that she likes what he does, especially when he's rude. Amelia screams in shock for him to stop because she understood. Killian claims that yesterday his little sister was completely different, and the girl apologizes but wonders why he continues to call her little sister. The guy claims that she asked for it herself, saying that being 23 years old is wonderful. The main character freezes and understands that it is time to stop drinking because either she attacks or she will fall into eternal sleep. The lady also thinks that 23 is a good age. When the guy was 25, he started a war and destroyed the world, and before his next birthday, he met his savior, that is the main character. It turns out that there are 2 years left until the end of the complete destruction. Therefore, the lady apologizes for the rudeness and claims that they met yesterday for the first time, so she better go. But the brunette asks if she is sure that they met for the first time. After all, he thinks that everything is the other way around. Amelia asks him what he's talking about to which the guy replies that nothing, because she herself said that she doesn't remember anything. The lady apologizes and claims that she probably drank too much. After which the guy approaches her and claims that this puts her in a difficult position because the girl wants to leave only because she does not remember anything about the previous night. But he remembered every detail. Amelia is shocked and understands that she thinks he won't let her go so easily. The girl is also afraid that he will take revenge on her, but it is better this way than to end up in the epicenter of destruction, after which she asks for forgiveness and claims that she needs to confess something. The lady immediately screams that in fact she is with him only for the money, and understands that she is sure that the guy will immediately come to his senses after hearing this. Well, when a girl falls silent, he feels some kind of strange atmosphere and wonders if she has really gone too far. Amelia hopes that he won't put her into eternal sleep, but the brunette only asks what's wrong with that. The main character is surprised and wonders what he is talking about, and the brunette asks again if this is really her reason to run away. Amelia thinks is it really impossible to do this, and screams that she meant that she knew that he was a duke, so she buttered him up. Well, when the lady again receives an indifferent reaction, she screams that his family is the richest in the world, and she says that she only likes the guy because of his money. But then she notices that her blanket has fallen off, and the brunette smiles and claims that it's wonderful. After all, he has a lot of money, and it turns out she likes him very much. Amelia sighs and tells him to wait. After which he offers to get dressed first and then talk. The lady understands that his body is of course beautiful, but the course is too attractive, and it is awkward for her to stand there in just a nightgown. The girl also turns around and asks where her clothes are. The brunette grins and claims that they are in the wash, after which he hands the lady a robe and tells her to put it on. But for now this. The main character wonders when he managed to prepare her clothes. And the guy claims that he will return after he changes his clothes. A little while later, the lady gets dressed and realizes that she had to wear it after all. Well, the girl also thinks why the feeling of awkwardness only intensified and understands that she can no longer escape without her clothes. At this point, the brunette enters the room, after which he approaches the lady from behind and addresses her as his sister. The young man claims that he knew it would suit her. Amelia cries out in embarrassment that they haven't finished the conversation yet. And she did say that she met him for money, so she's wondering if he finds it humiliating or something like that. The brunette replies that it turns out that if you pour it out, you like the money so much that you will need to earn more. He also asks if the girl knows that she looks very attractive now. He slowly lays the lady on the bed and asks what she likes about him besides money. The main character is shocked and thinks why he takes off his clothes once he's dressed and all wrinkled up. She thinks what the hell happened yesterday. Amelia realizes that she must remember, and then memories of sitting in the tavern begin to pop into her head. A young man approached her and asked if the lady would mind if he sat down next to her. The main character understood on her face that he was very handsome and smiled widely for a day, but now the girl finds it strange that the Duke came to the bar without security. She also understands that she needs to remember what happened in the novel that day, and that was when the guy first visited the bar. It was on that day that he threw himself off the cliff because the pain was unbearable, and that day was also the anniversary of his brothers falling into eternal sleep. So the girl thinks it turns out that they just met in that bar. And was it really him who planned to fall into eternal sleep afterwards? The guy still claims that the lady herself dragged him there, so she should be held responsible for what she did. The main character, in shock, asks if she really dragged him there. The opponent replies that everything is exactly like that, because she asked passers-by where the nearest hotel was. Amelia, with a red face, thinks that this is madness and does not understand why she is so ashamed. It turns out that she seduced the one she should have avoided, and of course it's good that she prevented the misfortune, but the main character should have been in her place, and the girl wonders if she really stole her role. After which she becomes completely interested in what happened after they ended up there. The brunette replies that she said that she wanted to drink more, so he bought them alcohol. And then the lady consoled him and he felt happy. Amelia wonders what happened next, and the guys reply that they then spent the night together. And after that, the guy claims that they started with this and kisses the lady. After that, his hands go to the bow on the robe. Well, at that very moment, the main character pushes him away and screams for him to wait a minute. The guy asks if she doesn't like it and suggests that she stop pushing him away like that. Amelia replies that it's not about that and that you just have to do something like that with someone you love. The girl understands that it's not that she didn't like it, but she can't get involved with the main character who wants to destroy everything. Killian asks if the lady really wants to say something. Amelia wonders if she really said something wrong. And also, whether the duchy was outraged by such treatment of a family member. The young man embarrassedly asserts that this was an intricate way to confess her love to him, and the main character freezes in place. After which he screams out what he's talking about. The guy replies that she did say what a dialogue with loved ones is, and based on what happened last night, Amelia screams that everything is wrong and he misunderstood her, and then he keeps thinking, is it really true that the world should collapse because of him? At this time, the young man wonders if this is really true, and the main character thinks that this way she will definitely start falling in love. At this time, the brunette asks if she is sure, and when the main character wants to answer, the guy approaches her again, and then he kisses him. The girl thinks that she shouldn't have done that, after which she starts hugging him. Well, she understands that she needs to stop. At this time, the brunette asks if it is possible to continue because he wants to hear her consent, and that her sister also wants this. Amelia realizes that hearing him call her little sister is a good reason to agree to go straight to hell. Well, at that very moment, the lady comes out of her dreams and realizes that another main character named Vanessa is about to appear. If this happens, she will end up being his ex with a broken heart, so the main character turns to Killian. Well, when the lady wants to continue, someone opens the door to the room. The main character turns to him in shock, and the man claims that he can't believe it because there are so many kids these days. The stranger also asks what they are doing because the time for eviction has already come. The main character in shock asks what he is talking about and wonders if he was taught to knock. Well, at that very moment, the brunette hugs her and looks coldly at the worker, which frightens him, after which the Duke turns to one of his servants and asks if he is there. Hyde immediately enters the room and apologizes because he did not notice. The man also claims that he will deal with the worker and takes him away. The man at this time asks to wait because he did not know who this person was. After he leaves, the main character sighs and the Duke kisses her on the cheek and asks if she is okay. The girl asks what this means, that he will deal with him. The Duke replies that she should not worry about such things. After all, he just wants the idiot who convinced her to look like this to be gone. Amelia is shocked by this. She understands that she knew that the guy doesn't really care about human lives, and putting him into eternal sleep for such a trifle is too much. The lady immediately turns to Kyle and asks if he can let this man go. After all, she doesn't think he deserves this. The Duke then asks if the lady is covering for him. The main character, smiling awkwardly, realizes that a terrible aura is emanating from him and wonders if he will really plunge her into eternal sleep. They understand that this cannot be allowed and claim that she was only curious whether he would change his mind if she asked. The guy immediately apologizes and claims that he didn't understand her right away. The main character says that, as it turns out, the answer is negative, and she had already begun to think about how to reward him if he agreed. Amelia turns to him a little embarrassed. The guy immediately approaches her and asks what the reward will be. Amelia asks what he would like and thinks that he will probably ask to finish what he started a couple of minutes ago. At this time, the young man says that he wants to do the same as just now. The main character thinks what he has thought up. The Duke asks if she could henceforth call him by the name she just called him. Amelia thinks what she called him, and then I remember that they also call the guy Kyle again. The young man replies that this is exactly it, and asks if the lady can continue to call him that. The girl thinks what an unexpectedly sweet request this is and does not answer that since he is asking. She agrees. Amelia understands that she felt somehow awkward about how happy he is about this, and the girl says something like it's called a nickname, but she still understands that no matter how nice the guy is now, she won't be able to call him that way in the future. From now on, she will do everything to stop their communication. A little while later, the servant enters the room and claims to have prepared snacks. When the main character sits down at the table, she is surprised by such a luxurious meal. The brunette at this time offers her to try, but then asks if she really wants to eat later. The main character immediately starts to devour the food with both cheeks and screams that now is just the right time. But as soon as the food gets into the lady's mouth, she thinks how delicious it is. The girl has never tasted such exquisite cuisine in her life. But then she realizes that she got a little carried away, and looking at the guy, she realizes that even when he eats, he looks like he's on the cover of a hotel advert. The servant at this time says that maybe this is not enough, but these are the best clothes he managed to prepare in such a short time. Kyle at this time turns to the girl and offers to change clothes after the meal. A little while later, the main character is already changing into suitable clothes and tells the gentleman that she thinks now is the time for her. But at the same moment, the guy reminds that he needs to be called by his name. The main character gets embarrassed. She immediately calls him by name and claims that today he is dressed differently than yesterday. The guy asks if she really liked his look from yesterday more. The girl replies that no, and in general, if we are talking about her preference, then she likes him better without clothes. Well, then the lady realizes what she just said and wonders if she hasn't sobered up yet. The brunette at this time says that yesterday was the anniversary of his brothers entering eternal sleep, so he was dressed differently than usual. Amelia realizes that she knew it. It was a day of sorrow for him, and the lady is sure that her actions affected him in a completely different way than if they had met on an ordinary day. At this point, the brunette asks if the lady is tired, to which she replies that she is a little... Well, then the ladies understand that it is better to say something else. And she claims that she is actually very tired, so she wants to get home as soon as possible to rest, and she has no idea what is exhausting her so much, so it would be worth visiting a doctor. The brunette immediately claims that this is bad and offers to bring the lady some medicine, but the girl screams that it is not necessary. She also claims that she is sure that my house will become much better and asks if it is okay if they go right now. Brene replies that he understands and the lady needs rest, and the main character begins to rejoice. Well, at that very moment, she feels her feet lift off the ground and is surprised. Kyle was told not to move because he would take her, but the main character asks why so suddenly. Well, she also understands that being in his arms is quite pleasant. At the same moment, Letty understands that she needs to drive these thoughts away. The brunette at this time claims that he accompanied her to her home and asks where the girl lives. And when they get into the carriage, the girl understands that it is just like a hotel on wheels. Bruno asks the lady once again to tell her address, and so understands that he does not know that she is the daughter of Countess Diana. Therefore, it is necessary to take advantage of this in order to avoid, and the lady tells him to just lie down right there because it is quite close, and she will come out very close to the house. But a little while later, they find themselves near a vegetable garden, and Brennet wonders if she really lives right on the vegetable patch. Amelia understands that she thought she remembered where it was, but it's only been a week since she ended up there, so it's not strange. The girl claims that there was a small mistake, and they need to turn right and then left onto River Road. Well, then they arrive at a place that looks like it, and the Duke says that it seems like the place is abandoned, and also wonders if the girl has been trapped there before. A little while later, they head to a few more places, and the main character realizes that this is already the 5th time. The brunette begins to suspect something, and he tells the girl not to say anything. The main character understands that she knew it because he guessed that she is trying to hide her address and leading them around in circles, but the guy is interested at the same time. Does the lady really want to go to his house, and that's why she's driving them around in circles? Amelia is puzzled, and the brunette says embarrassed. What should have been said right away, otherwise he would have understood it wrong. The main character thinks that he understood everything correctly then, and at that very moment the Duke turns to the coachman and offers to take them to his estate. Amelia realizes that she screwed up and not only didn't run away from him, but also went to the guy's house. The lady also becomes interested in whether it will hurt if she jumps out while moving. Well, it's better than being with him until the plot of the novel reaches a certain comfort. From a young age, her father, who is a commander of knights, taught her fencing, so if she rolls around a little in the mud, nothing will happen to her. Kyle. Well, this time he claims that he lives alone. Then the lady cannot worry and stay with him as long as she wants. The lady wants to object. And the guy at the same moment claims that if she wants, she can spend the night in his room because it is quite spacious. Amelia wonders why his face expresses so much hope, and whether she should stay the night in the spacious room. The girl does not understand whether he has fallen in love. Well, he thinks that according to the plot of the novel, Kyle avoided women until he met the main character and all this because of the status of the Duke. That's why the girl thinks that last night impressed him so much, and she doesn't remember anything. But did he really like it? Kyle asks if the girl is comfortable, and she asks what he's talking about. The guy hesitates a bit, but at that moment the carriage turns, and the main character suddenly leans on him. The girl immediately screams with apologies. Well, the guy just puts her on his knee and claims that everything is fine and the lady can lie down if she is comfortable. Amelia realizes that it is really comfortable and she didn't know that lying on someone's lap was so cozy. Jay Brunette tells her not to fidget unless she wants to seduce him. The main character asks him what he is talking about, and the brother replies that it is still some time to get to the estate, and this carriage is his property, so he can do whatever he wants there. The girl immediately gets up and is all embarrassed. The lady thinks if there is anything strange in the fact that she will live there. A little while later, they are already approaching the estate. When the girl gets out of the carriage, Tony can contain his admiration. She bets that the road from the main gate to the entrance to the estate will take half a day, and she was counting on escaping at night, but is afraid that she will simply get lost there. At this time, the brunette asks if she likes it, and the girl replies that she doesn't think she'll be able to get bored in such a beautiful estate, even if she stays there for a couple of days. Kyle asks if she is talking about a few days. The girl replies that if she stays for a long time, she will cause inconvenience to him and the servants. But the brunette replies that nothing of the sort and asks if the servants agree with this. The workers immediately ask the lady to stay with them as long as she wishes. A little while later, they go inside and the brunette invites his sister to go further. The estate workers are immediately shocked by the fact that the master called this girl sister and hugs her. The girl is a little surprised by such a reaction and thinks, why is it that the character who seemed so busy in the novel is so careless in dialect, but his servants are waiting to tell him all the news, and the lady tells the gentleman that he has a lot to do, so she thinks that she better leave quickly. The brunette asks where she wants to go. The main character replies that she thought he would be busy. Kyle replies that it is not at all and offers his sister to sit down for a minute. He also addresses the servants, and he says that everyone has 30 seconds to say what they wanted. The Alenas immediately line up. One of them says that a trading company sent them a contract and most of their products are Celtic goods according to estimates. The brunette replies that he will look into it and let the guy collect the necessary documents and bring them to his office, after which he tells the next one to come up and accepts more candidates. The main character thinks how much money he distributed in just 1 second, and when the brunette finishes, he turns to the lady. He says that he's finished and asks if she's upset. The main character thinks why she should be upset, and the guy claims that he saw how she was watching him closely. Amelia realizes that she didn't even realize it, and the guy is so attractive at work. The brunette claims that he will show her his room and the lady will live there for the next couple of days. Amelia wonders what he is talking about. And the guy replies that, of course it's about his room, and last night the lady dragged him into the room, so now it's his turn. Amelia thinks about how to respond to this, after which she claims that this is too much. But the young man replies that there are no more free rooms. Amelia asks if this is true, and when they head down the corridor, she wonders what is with all these rooms. One of the maids claims that they have many rooms, but you can't stay in them, and another servant confirms her words and claims that they are already occupied. It is also not safe to be alone, so let the lady always be near the Duke. The main character realizes that the tour of the Duke's estate has continued. A little while later, they had a grand dinner, and the girl felt a little awkward and was also wondering how she could get out of there. At this time, the brunette asks if the lady liked the dishes, to which she replies that yes, and it was quite tasty. She also understands that unfortunately she will not have the chance to try this again, but still, it can't go on like this any longer. The lady sits down on the bench and sighs. Kyle also asks how she is feeling, and the girl replies that she seems to have developed a fever after the walk, and she also wants to take a shower and go to rest. The brunette is a little embarrassed by such words. After which he orders the servants to take the lady to the bathroom and help her. Well then, the main character turns to him again and asks if he will wait for her in the bedroom like an obedient boy. Kyle's face looks like a tomato from these words, after which the guy replies that yes, and the main character thinks that this is great because the mission is accomplished. A little while later, she already approaches the bath and asks one of the servants if she could prepare the oil that the Duke would like. Remember how they listened to my lady's sister. And when she leaves, the main character wonders if they really think that little sister is her new name. Well, then the girl realizes that it doesn't matter and tells the other maid that she is thirsty. The maid replies that she understands and will stop allowing her to bring the lady a refreshing drink. And when she leaves, the main character immediately puts her dress back on and opens the window. The girl thinks that it is good that the guest room is on the first floor, after which Letty also turns around and looks at the letter that she left. The lady runs away and says goodbye to the rich gentleman, the main character, who is doomed to fall into eternal sleep. A little while later, a servant comes into the Duke's room and asks for forgiveness. He claims that while the maids were away, the lady ran away. A week has passed since then, and when Amelia ran away, leaving a letter, who wrote that she sincerely hoped that the master would be able to forgive her. They belong to different worlds, so they are not suitable for each other, and she also wants to apologize for the fact that his intentions were not pure. The lady also wrote that she would pray that one day he would meet his true love. The guy wonders if she is talking about true love after dumping him in such a cruel way. It was she who brought him to the hotel. Then the girl laid him on the bed. The brunette never wanted to object. The lady just kept saying how handsome he is and she can't stop looking at him, so she asks him to grab her like a sister at least once. Kyle asked Lady Dane to go to bed because, judging by how much she drank, Tom doubts that the lady is in her right mind and let her stop saying that the older species, in fact, she was born only a month earlier. The main character was surprised and asked how he knew since they had met for the first time. The guy then asked if she always brought men she had met for the first time to the hotel. Well, the main character insisted that it was okay for her to just lie there and let the guy trust her. The young man realizes that he doesn't have a habit of taking a girl for one night, after which he thinks why he went after her. The main character at this time only smiles, after which the brunette understands that there is some sense in this after all. After all, the lady probably doesn't remember, but they first met 10 years ago. Then someone claimed that classes for the heirs would be held at the child bank under the direction of the bank's director. Then the young man asked the servant how long it would take him to walk, to which he replied that it would take 2 hours, and in the evening, a dinner will be held at the house of Countess Mainz. A little while later, they have already arrived at the main building of the child bank. One of the men in the park wondered if this is really all their debts now. He also claimed that the man had fled without paying his debts. The main character, who was 14 years old at the time, turned to her father. The Duke was getting out of the carriage at that time and heard the man claim that he had thoughtlessly acted as his guarantor. The servant approached the Duke and claimed that this was the family of Count Dane they acted as guarantor. For his friend, he left his property and lands donated by the Emperor as collateral. The young lady's mother at this time claims that it's just money, and if there isn't any, it doesn't matter because no one was hurt and Amelia is healthy. Since they aren't a family, they'll cope with everything together. The little girl claimed that her mother was right because together they were strong. The man then, almost crying, turned to his daughter. And then he hugged her. The Duke, who was passing by, understood that he didn't care. As the heir to the Duke's family, he was taught to ignore any trivialities such as feelings of envy or jealousy. The 7-year-old boy turned to his dad, but the man turned coldly to him and insisted that he should be called father and not dad. This burning bitterness in his heart always made him look back into the past, but he did not know what exactly he was looking for there. However, this girl, the meeting with whom was so short that memories of her tend to melt away. Again and again it appears in his thoughts, making his heart beat faster. A few days later, someone informs the Duke that the royal family is asking for additional funding. The man asks how much they need this time, but at that moment, he sees a lady in front of him with her parents. The servant claims that this is the family of Count Dane, and they haven't seen them for a long time because, due to their debts, they are not allowed into the palace. At this time, the lady's mother apologizes to her, and her father claims that he is terrible because it is because of him that the girl is forced to suffer so much. The main character says that it's okay because she's sure that one day they will pay off all their debts. The amount there is, of course, cosmic proportions, but step by step they will cope. And the lady thinks that once she managed to get out of the debt hole, so she will succeed again. She also says that at least they are all healthy, so they haven't lost anything worthwhile. The brunette watching all this is a little surprised and realizes that the girl has grown so much since the last time he saw him. And only after their second meeting did he realize that the feeling he had experienced that day when he was a child was precisely envy. He, who was the only heir to the Duke's family, could not break through the wall to these bright feelings of warmth and comfort. Even in that backwater bar when the lady was clearly not herself, could he have pushed her away on the night he decided to jump off the cliff? And in return, he wanted to beg her for a stupid request to take him to her world, although he could not even imagine that the lady would drag him to the hotel. Well, to tell the truth, he liked it, and that feeling was even much more than just a simple liking. The brunette understood that he was doing something that was not typical for him, so when a week ago he was informed about the lady's escape, he thought that it was time to stop fooling around. Although he still misses her and let the girl go, knowing that now his heart is beyond his control. It was Amelia who made him like this, but then she said that they weren't right for each other. After which the guy smiles and understands that it turns out that this is their common problem. He realized that he couldn't refuse her, so what to wait for, and the brunette turned to one of the servants. He understands that since they are not suitable for each other, he just needs to make sure that they are suitable. The brunette asks where Amelia is now, and he replies that a week ago she ran away to her home and seems to be sick. The man immediately jumps up from his seat and cries out why the servant didn't tell him about this earlier. But then the young man calms down and claims that it is his own fault that he left her alone and will go to her tomorrow. The ward asks the gentleman if he should prepare something for him, to which his interlocutor replies that he should prepare medicine, and let him also bring the girl's favorite things. The servant wonders what it is, and the Duke replies that the girl said that she loves money, so let him prepare gold bars and jewelry, and also let him prepare a suit for him for tomorrow that is easy to take off. The guy understands that the lion of the child family will never back down. Until she gets what she wants, the main character lies in bed and coughs for a while. The lady wonders why she felt herself in the body of the Count's daughter, who is hanging on to debts because she can't even go to the hospital. And maybe it's worth spending money on emergency situations on a witch doctor. At this time, someone calls the lady. The main character thinks what is going on because they no longer have servants, and why is it so noisy there? When the girl goes down the stairs, she suddenly sees some people, one of whom asks if they checked everything there. At this time, the lady's mother turns to her husband and asks what they will do now. And the main character is shocked to realize that they are sealing the property. Amelia immediately runs up to her mom and dad. One of the workers at this time sees a mountain of bears and asks what else is this. Amelia understands that these are teddy bears and the necessary things that they need to deliver. At this point, the girl screams for the gentleman to wait, but he asks if the lady doesn't see that he is busy. Amelia claims that as far as she knows, when the child bank gives money to nobles, it is not returned by confiscating property, and the emperor himself will restore the noble's status. The man replies that he knows, but not in the case of their family, to which Letty replies that he is right, because only those who have an heir capable of providing for the family are exempt from paying. Nobles retain their title even if they lose their property, and if the family goes bankrupt, the heir can still become a politician or occupy a high position. In this case, the right to exemption from payments helps him restore the honor of the family. And she is the heiress of the Dine family. The worker at this time wonders if Miss will go to work. And she looks at him and understands that when she first woke up in Amelia's body, she saw a large number of job advertisements in the newspapers. And also credit policy and guarantee from the bank named child. The Count and Countess love her selflessly, and even when she woke up and did not understand what was happening, they treated her well, and even though they were poor, she would have decided to sort out the current situation if it were for the sake of other people. Since she is now Amelia Dine, it is her duty, and the ladies respond that yes, she plans to work to pay off her debts. The man claims that then the lady will need to bring proof that she has found a job within a month, to which the girl agrees, and claims that she will do everything on time, so now she asks them to leave her house. Her interlocutor at this time thinks how annoying it is that the lady's speech only wastes their time. He also claims that he will keep an eye on the miss and puts a ceiling sticker on her. When the main character looks at people leaving, she thinks what an idiot this person is. After all, he just took and stuck a sticker of printed property on it. The lady's father at this time sits down and sighs heavily. He apologizes to his daughter and claims that because he thoughtlessly acted as someone else's guarantor, she has to get into trouble. The main character realizes that the longer she knows her parents, the stranger they seem to her. The lady's father became the youngest knight to receive the title of Grand Master, a title that can only be bestowed upon the emperor's Tsar at the highest level. And so this great man was betrayed for his own loyalty, which he always extolled, and is now buried under debt. Even now, despite his title, he sews eyes on teddy bears so that he can continue to be a count. The woman at this time turns to her daughter and asks if she was frightened, after which she suggests going to her. The main character understands that her mother comes from high society and is the daughter of a count. Despite all the hardships caused by her father, she is still beautiful and proudly endures everything that has befallen them. This is their biggest problem. The lady's mother at this time suggests praying to God. The main character understands that they are nice and kind, but not at all self-sufficient. And so you are these noble gentry. They pray when water drips from the roof but are not able to fix it. And their servant Peter was too short to reach. They also pray when the mice eat the last of their stored food, and it seems like all they do is pray even if it's late at night. That is why she cannot just run away and leave them, and these people love her very much, and they will pray until they lose consciousness that she will be found, after which the main character invites them to sit down. And when her parents do so, the lady states that first of all, they need to calculate how much money they spend on life. You also need to understand where you can save money so that you can use this money to pay off the debt. But they can get sick if they don't eat well, so the lady suggests that they earn a little money by selling jewelry, and she will find a job as soon as possible. The woman at this time says how glad she is that they have such a beautiful daughter. And the man asks when the lady managed to come up with such a plan and whether she really studied economics. The main character replies that she wouldn't say and simply read a lot of newspapers. At one time, Amelia realizes that the memories of this body helped her a little. Well, at that very moment, the lady coughs, and when the man turns to his daughter, she replies that everything is fine. Therefore, she will go and rest at her place because a guest is supposed to come to her and let them just let him in without unnecessary questions. The girl understands that you shouldn't overdo it when you're sick, and she hopes that the healer will come as soon as possible. The main character also tries to remove the sticker but wonders why it won't come off. The lady also understands that it doesn't matter, and if someone wants to come in, they will knock on the door first, after which she lays down on the bed and falls asleep. The lady thinks that she is so bad, and she has escaped a destructive end, but what if she now falls into eternal sleep from illness? A little while later, the girl opens her eyes and asks for water. At the same moment, someone hands her water and asks if she can stand up. When the main character finally opens her eyes, she asks if it's Kyle. The guy only asks if she's awake. Amelia wonders how he got there but doesn't have time to finish, and she doesn't have enough strength. The brunette throws his jacket over her and tells the lady to drink some water first. Well, when the main character picks up a glass, she feels weakness in her hands and accidentally drops it. Amelia apologizes and claims that his jacket is wet, but the Duke then tells her to wait. When the main character asks what is going on, the guy says that everything is fine. Let her leave him. He also wonders if this is why the lady let him in. Amelia asks what he is talking about, and the brunette claims that she needs rest, so let the girl not overwork herself because he is not going anywhere until she gets better, so let her be more attentive to herself. Well, when people ask again what the guy meant earlier, the guy asks if she wants to seduce him. The main character is also embarrassed and wraps herself in his jacket and also screams that this is not true. And also, this was all just an accident, to which the guy replies that he understood and asks how long the lady has been sick. The girl replies that she has had a cough since she undressed to take a bath, and she also thinks that it will sound terrible if she says that she ran away because she was sick. At this time, the brunette wonders if she ran away so as not to infect him, and the main characters don't think if he bought it. At this time, the young man tells his darling that he didn't even guess and also thought that she rejected him. The girl replies that no, after which the Duke approaches her and kisses her on the forehead. The main character is embarrassed after this, and the brunette claims that her forehead is hot and wonders if the lady is really that bad. Amelia touches her forehead and thinks that it seems she will soon fall into eternal sleep under the embarrassment. The girl also claims that she left a letter in which she asked not to look for her. Well, the brunette just sadly asks if she doesn't like him, and the main character thinks that there is no need for his puppy eyes because her heart is breaking from this look. Amelia apologizes and claims that this is usually what lovers do, to which he smiles and claims that he understood and also called the lady doctor, so let her get dressed. But when he picks up her dress from the floor, he sees a bank mark on it and asks what else it is, and also why this thing is on her dress. A little while later, the man throws this dress in front of the servant and asks what is going on. The man claims that he will go right now to find out everything and wonders what he should do when he finds the culprit. The brunette immediately says that he should of course put this guy into eternal sleep, but at that very moment, the main character coughs, and the guy replies that no, and let him burn it, to which the man replies that he obeys. A little while later, the maid brings other outfits into the room, and the Duke claims that he has prepared clothes for the lady that will suit her perfectly even if she is ill. He also asks if the lady will be able to put it on, and the main character replies that she doesn't think so unless the maid helps her. The Duke immediately answers with a smile on his face that he can help too. The main character thanks him but claims that it is a woman's dress, so it would be better. But the guy claims it's like taking it off only backwards. He also asks if the lady would throw it on over her wet nightgown, after which the main character suggests that Kyle stop trying to make his fantasies come true and turn to the wall. To which he agrees, and the girl understands that she can't relax for a second with him. A little while later, the lady's parents knock, and when they enter the room, they announce that the doctor has arrived. At the same moment, many authors enter the room and one of them greets Miss Dine. He claims that his name is Paul Remian and he is the head physician of the child hospital. He also asks the miss if he can examine her, to which the lady agrees. The main character also thinks why there are so many people there, and even the head doctor came to treat her. At this time, the girl seemed to hear her parents' thoughts about how long she had known the Duke, and apparently since he had brought her the best doctors on the continent. The girl thinks that she has no idea how this happened, and at the same moment the doctor turns to the lady and also states that everything is very bad. He also wonders how she managed to stay like this until now, and the lady's parents are immediately horrified. The man claims that the lady will only recover if she receives the best treatment and rests in good conditions. And this particular place can't provide them. The main character, at this time, starts coughing and wonders why she started coughing right now. The lady's mother immediately screams that she will sell her hair, and her father screams that no, he will sell her cornea and also pay all the necessary medical expenses. The girl thinks that everything is not so serious. And at the same moment, the Duke asks the doctor where he would recommend the lady page, to which he replies that it is the best place for recovery. This is the Duke of Child's estate, where the lady will be cared for 24/7 and provided with the best treatment in the entire empire. The man claims that there are the most wonderful conditions for patients in critical condition there, and his interlocutor agrees with him, but the main character thinks what liars they are. The woman at this time asks if he is talking about the Duke's estate, and if the lady moves there, she will be able to survive. The main characters in his thoughts ask his parents not to believe them because she has a common cold. At this time, the Duke says that everything is clear, and since the head physician himself advises her to be treated at his estate, he will gladly take her away right now. But he thinks that the Count's daughter will be uncomfortable living with a stranger. Amelia thinks that at least he understands this, but the girl has no idea what he has in mind. The brunette immediately hands her flowers and says that this is the only way out in such a situation for the lady. This is to become his girlfriend. The main character realizes that for a second she even forgot that Kyle Child is a man capable of achieving anything he wants, and it is he who offers to date her. So the girl thinks, what is the point of this? The brunette at this time throws a bouquet to one of the servants and says that of course he understands that about the days of flowers, the lady will not be enough to make a decision, after which he snaps his fingers. And at the same moment I enter the room, they carry chests with jewelry. The main character is shocked looking at this. She thinks how much it all costs. and the Duke claims that he can give her everything the lady desires and even more. The main character thinks about it but then comes to her senses and realizes that she cannot accept it. Kyle must meet the main character destined for him in 2 years, and even if he likes her now, the idea may interfere with the plot. The lady then said that it was not necessary, and she wondered if the hero really thought that she was communicating only from this. The guy replies that that's exactly what she said, and the girl understands that it's fair. The young man at the same moment asks if this means that she is communicating with him not only because of money, but the main character at the same moment stops him and claims that it is 100% because of money. The guy claims that this means she has no reason to reject him, and if she communicates with him because of money, then let her date him because of it, and if she communicates with him not because of money, then let her date him just like that. The main character is shocked and wonders if she really dug her own grave and what she should do now. The ball makes it even harder to think. The lady's father at this time asks the girl if this is true, and if so, he is against it. Let his daughter not force herself to do such things because of his debts. Amelia tells her father that everything is not so, and the brunette asks the count not to worry because it is that night. His daughter, for the first time, the main character immediately screams for him to shut up, and she wonders if he really wants to tell her father how she dragged him to the hotel. The girl immediately closes her mouth, and her father asks Amelia if this is really so. The brunette tells the count that this is how it happened, and the man says that if the Duke really likes his daughter, the main character grabs the guy by the tie and tells him to wait, after which she suggests going outside. But at that very moment, the lady notices that her fingers have grabbed the shirt, after which it stretches completely. The main character, holding a tie in her hands, looks at it in shock, and the guy tries to put his shirt back together. And he says that he understands that the lady is sick, but even in this state, this is not an excuse. Amelia, now the man thinks that this is unfair, and what kind of shirt is this, because it stretched out very quickly, and the lady thinks, is the shirt really cotton wool? There are no buttons. The girl's mother at this time says that she will pack her things, and her father congratulates her. The main character, in shock, claims that they all got it wrong. But these two leave the room, and the mother confirms that when the lady is ready, then let her come down, and she hopes that this will happen soon. So the soundproofing in the house is bad, and he is already old. The main character thinks why they care about the soundproofing. And the doctors also say that they will go and wish them a good day. The main character thinks that about her because they said that she is terribly ill. When they leave, the main character immediately screams, asking what happened to his shirt because she barely touched it. But the young man only takes more pictures of her and asks if she likes it, or to announce that he came to take her away, so he prepared everything that she likes. Amelia is embarrassed and falls on the bed. The brunette immediately runs up to her and asks her to calm down because she is sick. The main character thinks that it's all because of him, after which she asks him to tie up his shirt. The young man smiles and asks if she really liked it that much, and also tells the lady to admit that she wants to become his girlfriend before he changes his mind. The girl immediately asks why she should confess, and the guy claims that the doctor said that she has pharyngitis, which can develop into an arenavirus that will fall under the code of a terrible disease. If you don't start treatment in time, the main character interrupts him and screams, "What then?" and also thinks, how can this be, and isn't it a simple cold? She guessed that she felt too unwell for a simple cold, but she didn't know that she had such a disease, and if she fell into eternal sleep in this world, it would be the end. After which the lady thinks that she needs to get cured, because this is the most important thing now, so she will be his girlfriend for a short time, and then she will make him leave her. For example, she will drool while he sleeps or eat with her hands. The brunette immediately hands the lady flowers and smiles, after which the main character swallows, and also says that it's good, and offers to date. The guy immediately smiles brightly and thanks her. He also approaches the lady's ear and claims that this disease is actually also called a cold. Amelia asks in shock what he is talking about, and the brunette suggests that they go since the carriage has already arrived. He picks the girl up and then carries her outside. The lady's mother and father tell the lady to listen to the doctor and take care of herself. And when the girl enters the carriage, she realizes that she has fallen into a trap. The brunette immediately turns to the lady and asks what she is looking at there, because now she can only look at him since they are dating. The main character thinks how she can be angry when he makes such a face and everything should have been different. The girl also asks what's wrong with his clothes since she barely touched them. Then, she also wonders if he did it on purpose, so that the shirt would stretch easily. The brunette just smiles and the girl understands that she only assumed, but that's how it was. Kyle claims that he did say that he could give her whatever the lady wanted and the main character unthinkably thanks him, but then realizes that he can't answer like that, and yet she suggests that he not do it again because there were other people there, and he embarrassed everyone. The brunette answers that it is fine. She asks, "What if it is just the two of them?" The girl immediately says that even when there are two of us, it's impossible, and thinks that otherwise she won't be responsible for herself. Kyle claims that he doesn't like such orders, after which the main characters are not surprised. But the young man with a smile on his face says that she should take a nap because the road is long and the lady can lie down. Like then the main character thinks what just happened, and he seems to have changed. But in any case, it is necessary to quickly make him leave her, after which the lady claims that he will regret that he started dating her because she is such a sticky person. "Well, I really need to know if she will stick to him," to which the girl replies that yes, she will stick her nose everywhere. She will constantly pester him with questions about what he is and who he is with. The young man is only embarrassed by this and wonders if she is really that interested in his life. After which, he keeps telling him that maybe it's worth spending all day and night together and he'll warn his employees about it. Maybe it's worth preparing a place for her in his office. He also asks what he regrets, whether he still wants to eat, whether he will do everything, and the main character thinks that he somehow reacted incorrectly. The guy at this time claims that if you think about it, a week ago she said to wait for her in the room while she took a shower. He had to wait too long, so he doesn't think that now he will get by with a small reward. The main character is shocked and thinks, why does he understand this topic? After which, she completely understands that she can't lose her head and also needs to close her eyes so as not to fall for his puppy eyes. The girl immediately turns around and asks if the guy remembers that she ran away then, so as not to infect him. It would be terrible if he got sick because of her. That's why she wanted to live alone for some time when they arrived at the estate. The brunette is surprised by this, after which he sighs and thinks that this means that these are the rules of the game. He agrees and states that the lady's well-being is the most important thing for him, so he will wait until she gets better. The main character immediately rejoices and thinks that this is a victory, and the guy looking at her thinks how cute she is when she behaves like that. He also understands that Hyde asked him if they could talk before he flew to Miss Amelia, and the guy asked about what. The man claimed that love was like a tug of war, and he couldn't pull it all alone forever. But then the guy asked if he really needed to push her away, to which the man replied that of course. After all, love is not like anything in this world, and as they say, too much taste spoils it. The guy claimed that it made sense and that he needed to pretend to be indifferent, but then the man claimed that this was not quite what he wanted to say. After which the brunette said that he would go to her and confess his love as if he didn't care. The man was shocked after this, and then apologized to the gentleman but asked if he could explain to him what it meant to push away, after which the lecture on the topic of carrot and stick began. If Amelia knew that the servant helped him and explained everything, she would be grateful to him. And now she will be able to feel at home in the estate. When the main character dines in the estate, she thinks that we need to be realistic because this estate is the best place. The bathtub there is so big that you can swim in it like in a pool, and the greenhouse resembles a greenhouse. The bedroom is simply huge, and the food is delicious as if she were in a 5-star hotel. And Kyle doesn't push himself, so she's just fine. Well, then the girl thinks, did he really lose interest in her because they are a couple, and that is a good sign. If Amelia knew about the carrot and stick lecture, she would have been very touched. Well, at this time, he asks his servant if he is sure that his scheme works. After all, when the girl was walking in the garden and met him, she didn't even look, but he was dressed luxuriously. The servant at this time says that the master is mistaken, because now the lady likes to be in this estate, and this is a good sign. The guy asks if she likes it too, which the man replies that yes, and he thinks that she is comfortable there. The lady will open her heart to him when she gets comfortable there, and the brunette claims that this sounds logical because the main thing is that she doesn't forget about him. Then the servant approaches the master and whispers something to him. The boy replies that it is a great idea and let him prepare everything that is needed. A little while later, one of the maids approaches Miss Amelia and claims that the Duke asked her to give her a letter. When the girl unfolds it, she wonders if he really sent her a letter, even though they live in the same estate. In this letter, the guy asks if the lady likes her room and that she should not be shy to tell him if it is too hot or cold. Amelia is a little embarrassed by this and wonders if it was worth sending a letter for this, since she is already doing well there. After that, the girl began to receive similar notes every day. In one of them, the guy wished her a good day, and in the other, he claimed that he was told that she was not recovering yet. He also wrote that he would ask the cooks to be especially careful in preparing the menu for her, and that he misses her, and therefore hopes that the lady will soon feel better. A little while later, the girl is in the bath and realizes that it has already begun to tire her. She remembers that in the novel, the guy spent fabulous amounts of money. The way he is now makes her believe that she can change his future, even though she is a simple middle-class girl and not the main character, and she wasn't even popular at school. At this time, the main character bumps into the Duke in the corridor and asks if it is really him. The guy, a little embarrassed, claims that he missed her, and the main character thinks that this is why he hasn't visited her even once in 2 weeks. The girl thinks that she doesn't want to respond to him in kind, but it would be rude to remain silent, and after all, they haven't seen each other for a long time. The lady claims that she wants a drink and wonders if he will join her. The girl also wonders if he didn't visit her because he was afraid of getting infected, to which the guys answer no, and she herself asked to be left alone, and therefore, as a lady, she could think that he would refuse their meetings out of fear. Amelia claims that it was a joke, and she thinks that at least once he could have dropped in. The lady thinks how much she wants to tease him, and the guy claims that it is difficult for him to control himself when she is around. Amelia asks her face what he is talking about, and she is even interested in what exactly it is that he finds difficult to control in himself. The guy replies that it is his wish, and the main character at this time tells him to repeat it because she didn't hear. He also says that he really wanted to tell her about it personally, which makes the lady a little surprised and asks what it could be. The girl thinks that maybe she shouldn't have made fun of him, after which the Duke affirms that he had been thinking about it all that week after her escape, and for another 2 while she was ill. He thought that he had a simple interest in the lady, but now he was convinced. The main character thinks that he turned the conversation in a completely different direction, and the brunette at this time claims that he loves her, after which the girl screams and also thinks that she definitely shouldn't have heard this. Amelia asks him to shut up, but the guy asks why. Amelia shyly replies that it's because of his words. The girl can't finish speaking and understands that when a guy like him confesses his love to her, then there are no options, and she herself begins to fall in love. But then she won't see a happy ending because she won't be able to control herself. At this time, the brunette says that he is very interested in whether the lady really wants him to express his feelings in some other way than in words, after which he starts to unbutton his shirt. The main character is shocked and tells him to wait because she didn't mean it, and also thinks that the guy has gone crazy. When the young man wants to take off his pants, the main character grabs him by the hands and doesn't tell him to stop. The guy is shocked and asks why, and the girl replies that she has long wanted to ask when she managed to say that she likes his naked body. Kyle replies that at the first meeting and asks if that is not true. As reported, he replies that it was a rhetorical question. She also understands that the guy is right because she actually admitted that he is handsome and his body proportions are perfect. He has impeccable muscle definition, and also this charming smile of his, which is more beautiful than K-pop idols. The guy at this time says that if this one looks at him like that, he will drill a hole. He also asks if he should take off the rest, and the main character claims that people tend to admire beauty, so he shouldn't make things up. The brunette is immediately surprised and asks if she thinks he is beautiful or at least good-looking. Amelia looks at him and thinks how he manages to ask such questions with such surprise on his face. The main character immediately asks what he is talking about, because his face is so beautiful that it would not be ashamed to print it on banknotes. Personally, she thinks that it would be even better to print the face on the front side and the body on the back, and by chance she is sure that it would bring happiness to people just walking around and waving such bills. But at that very moment the girl closes her mouth, and the brunette just laughs. He also says that the lady should look at him as much as she wants, rather than think about the money with his image on it. Did she see that she could say that she wanted him to belong to her entirely? The main character claims that she is simply saying that he has a beautiful face and does not need to belong entirely to her. The brunette's face changes at this point, and he says that he knew it and completely forgot himself. The heroine then remembers when he first confessed to the main character in the novel. As he claimed, no one cares who this monster duke is. They only fear and despise him or bow down to his wealth. In reality, no one needs him himself. After all, he is nothing without his money. Now the main character is thinking how she was deceived, touched the guy to the quick. After which he screams that his appearance can completely conquer the whole world. The lady then laughs awkwardly and claims that she wanted to say that anyone in this world would want to be with him just by looking at him, but she herself thinks how awkward she is. The young man says that he doubts that she knows how things are in the social life of those close to the emperor. But the girl is interested in what the difference is. She knows, and the movement answer from this, he will not become less handsome, and their exception will be cunning there, and at the age. But so she is sure that any girl will melt from one of his smiles. But when the main character looks at the Duke's face, she sees that he is still dejected. After which she realizes that it is her fault, and she shouldn't have reminded him of his injury. The girl immediately turns the guy to the mirror and tells him to look, after which she asks if anyone would refuse such a man and that this is nonsense. But the guy is just wondering if this means that she wouldn't refuse him, and the girl thinks that he's back to his old ways. After which he even says that he should print his face on the banknotes and that she is no longer so young and will soon pass the age at which people usually get married. Kyle says that it doesn't matter to him, and if he likes something, he wants to get it. He also asks if the lady has similar desires about him. The girl only gets embarrassed in response and says that everything is not like that at all. And the guy kisses her hand and asks if it's true because he wants the lady to be his. The girl's face turns very red from this, after which she covers her face with her hand and asks why the guy is looking at her like that. But the young man replies that she herself said that people tend to admire beauty, after which he kisses her. When the guy finishes his kiss, the teapot after another on the main character pushes him away and says, "That's enough." The girl knows how to do that. Is anyone able to control themselves when a guy like that says things like that? After which the girl sits down on a chair and says that it's enough to believe her, not that she was interested in it. The young man says that he will do as the lady says and will hold back at once. She does not want to. He only wanted to express his love for her. The main character thinks why he is so cute, and technically he is trying to convey that he loves her without using words. After which she claims that she agrees she doesn't need to rush because they just started dating. And then, while she's not interested in how ours is, it's better for him to start saying that he loves her, and the main character says that in 10 years. Kyle claims that he will accept this as her desire to live with him for 10 years, after which people realize that he is smart and she needs to stop arguing. Amelia also states that it was nice to see him and she appreciates everything he has done for her. Kyle asks if the lady is going to bed, to which she replies that yes, it is already late. The Duke says that it is good, after which he picks up the girl in his arms and carries her through the entire corridor to the room. The main character understands that this is a familiar episode. He has done this 3 times already. She herself remembered this gesture of his on a physical level so that her hands automatically clasped behind her neck. The girl thinks how she got used to it so quickly, but then she thinks that something is wrong there. The lady also asks the Duke what he is doing and where they are going, to which he asks if the lady remembers that she wrote in the letter that they are not suitable for each other. Well, how would she know if they haven't had a chance to try a couple of times yet? The main character is shocked and wonders if he's really going to test their compatibility at night. She immediately starts kicking and asks where he is taking her to, which the guy replies that of course he is taking her to his room. Amelia screams that she is not going to sleep there. But the guy immediately opens the door in hunger, after which he throws everything for the shade of the bed. He starts to undress and claims that he would not let her fall asleep or regret thinking that he missed her only because of the impossibility of saying what he feels. The main character immediately becomes embarrassed and thinks that she will not fall into this trap and will also look the other way. Well, when the lady turns around, she thinks why the room turns off so empty even though it has luxurious furniture. It's stupid to worry about someone without knowing their whole story, so you need to hide this feeling. But at the same moment when it is necessary through this, Should the lady worry about him? And the main character is shocked and thinks how he found out. The guy claims that he is worried about someone she cares about. This is normal. After which he keeps saying that he needs Amelia and he always gets what he wants. The main character understands that this is a dangerous moment, but she thinks, why are you now? He is waiting for her consent, and this is quite cute. The main character also understands that she shouldn't do this because no matter how much she worries about him, no matter how handsome he is, if she loses control of the situation, now he will rule their entire relationship from now on. For someone like her, he needs to be brought up right now, so the girl tells the guy to wait, because she feels awkward because she's wearing only a robe. When the main character turns around, she sees a pedestrian on the nightstand asking if he really prepared this for her. The girl understands that he seemed to be 100% sure that she was there, and it seemed, after which she understands that she needs to play on his desire and asks if he could turn away while she changes her clothes. The guy immediately turns away, and the main character thinks that he wants her. The girl lies down on the bed and says that she is done. After which the guy hangs over her and the main character thinks that he closed his eyes, after which she tells him to calm down. Only asks if it is possible when she is nearby, and connectors do not confirm that she is an envelope couple to appoint the right useful one. Otherwise they risk getting used to another friend if they kiss and hug when they meet. He replies that he doesn't need rules. The main character asks if it's true that he's a bass player, and on her terms, she would kiss him. The guy kisses her at the same moment, and the main character is surprised by this, after which she moves away. But again, he asks if he can kiss her. Amelia claims that now, before any action, he must ask her permission and then wait until she counts from 3. The young man refuses, and the main character claims that she sympathizes with him, because if he treats her like that, they will stop dating. The guy then falls on the bed. The Duke says that the girl is driving him crazy, and the main character understands that her heart is about to break. She shouldn't feel this way, but this guy is so cute. The brunette wonders why he has to count to 3. Amelia replies that in order to keep the element going, which is very important in a relationship, it makes you look forward to what happens, which makes the process much more interesting. The Duke says that if being interesting is so important to the lady, then it can be achieved in other ways, but the girl replies that no, she would like to feel interesting on a permanent basis. The guy then stands up and claims that he won't like it and counts to 3. The main character is a little surprised by this, after which she thanks him and also understands that she is almost there. Well, the brunette asks why she thinks so, and the girl replies that if he wants to do something, then she will read it, and vice versa. Amelia understands that naturally, she will never bring the count to 3, after which she asks if he wants to try. The guy wonders if he just needs to say what he wants and then offers to hug. The brunette claims that he wants to hold her in his arms until she almost cries and calls him by name, after which he asks if everything is correct. The main character is indignant about this and then completely slips out from under him, and also thinks that they will just try out the genius more, and also claims that now she will count to 3. The girl says the number 1, then lies down on the bed and says the number 2. Well, she doesn't even count to 3, after which she wishes her good night. The brunette screams at her in shock. Well, at the same moment he turns to the gentleman and asks for forgiveness for distracting him. He claims that it seemed important to him to tell him the news that had just arrived. After all, Miss Clare is back. The main character wonders if this is the same Clare child, the only one who survived, besides Kyle, and she finally returned home. Clare Child is the illegitimate daughter of the former Duke of Childe. She was the first daughter whose existence was kept secret because she resembled her father so much that he could not disown her. Kyle himself didn't know about it until that day came. The man said that they had to prove that they were strong enough to protect the status and wealth of the duchy, because only the strong can survive in this world. From that moment on, the race for the title of heir began, and the eldest son fell into eternal sleep immediately after this announcement, the reason being an accidental fall down the stairs. Then, on Kyle's 18th birthday, the second oldest brother he always trusted attacked him with a knife. After this, the guy locked himself in his room because his heart was the most wounded. Then a certain girl appeared who asked if the gentleman was hungry. It also claimed that he should survive, so that in the future she can protect the name of Childs, so she will help him. The guy then asked why she would do this. To which the girl replied that this was in order to protect the duchy, so let the gentleman simply promise that he will not forget about her when he becomes a duke, and then she would do everything for him. After that night, two were put into eternal sleep by someone and another by accident. Their father also soon fell into eternal sleep due to illness. Because of all these incidents, the guy was nicknamed the Duke Monster, and the first event he attended as a duke was the funeral of his brothers and father. When the young man met that same maid, he asked if she was his sister. The guy immediately screamed what her real motive was, and did she really want to become a duchess by plunging into eternal sleep and him, so let her say what she needs. I asked again if she was really interested in what she needed, and after living locked up for 28 years, she only had one dream. And that's what she wants, to be free. Now the main character thinks about it and realizes that Clare was her favorite character in the novel because of her story. The brunette at this time gets a little angry and asks if the lady will now be absorbed in her thoughts about something extraneous. The girl immediately apologizes, although she thinks that he himself was thoughtful. She is sure that they were both thinking about the same person. But unlike her, Kyle may feel hatred and anger as well as fear towards her. The lady remembers that he did not abandon her when Stalker stepped in, and they in some sense maintained a working relationship. Well, then the girl thinks that everything is so confusing. The lady returned from her journey through the Empire, and she did not take this into account. Amelia understands that this guy's past is very sad even for the main character. So she thinks that today an exception can be made, and Letty claims that she saw a big scar on him last time, and then asks how he got it. The guy immediately stretches his shirt, and the main character screams that she didn't say she wanted to see him. Brené claims that this scar was a gift from his second older brother for his 18th birthday. He also believes that he wanted to leave a much larger one, but the plan failed. The scar becomes inflamed every birthday, so let the lady consider it an unforgettable gift. When the guy sees the main character's face, he suggests that she not make such a face because he has a premonition that if she is nearby, he will not get sick on his next birthday. That's why the brunette asks to stay with him. Amelia wonders what he's talking about because she's not the real main character and not the one who will be tied to him forever. This is a clear sign of the approaching destructive end, so it's time to stop enjoying life in this house. The lady also thinks that tomorrow she will not run away, and the next day she realizes that she received Kyle's schedule for the last 2 weeks. Today he has a big meeting, and the girl leaves the room and also realizes that she took it into the water. She put on comfortable shoes and understands that she is completely ready to escape, but as soon as the lady opens the door, she sees a knight who are wondering where the miss is going, and the girl realizes that she has completely forgotten about the knights of the child house. It seems they are her bodyguards. The lady claims that she is going for a walk as always. She asks what it is. One of the knights immediately says that then they will accompany her as always. And when they go further, the main character understands that today they are especially persistent and do not leave her side. One of them claims that there is a dead end on that side, and the other says that another path leads to the rose garden. The main character then apologizes, but asks if she can be alone with herself, to which one of them replies that this is impossible. Amelia immediately asks why this thing is safe in the estate, and whether they are worried that it will run away again. Well, then the lady notices how the knights are looking at her bag with water and a map. She claims that she specially collected all the essentials in case she gets lost on the vast territory of the estate, and also wanted to explore places where I haven't been yet. One of the knights claims that this is a great idea, and since they left the idea that she will soon become a duchess, she needs to explore the lands. Amelia asks what he is talking about, and one of the knights replies that the Duke obviously treats the lady as a future duchess. He values her so much that he will cut off their heads if the lady even gets scratched. The girl then thinks that they are talking as if they would not be surprised if they and the Duke got married tomorrow. After which the lady realizes that she needs to get out of there and throws her bag, and then runs away. The girl understands that the only way out is to jump over the wall, and you just need to trust Amelia's physical fitness. The girl was trained by her father, and he was the commander of the knights, and then the lady climbs onto the fence. One of the knights shouts to Miss that it is dangerous, so let her remain quiet. The main character understands that the estate where they put people into eternal sleep is much more dangerous. One of the knights at this time asks the lady not to jump there and suggests going back because they will catch her. Amelia asks if this is true and whether the Duke will not be upset by the fact that other men touched her. The knights immediately realize this and argue about who will catch the lady. At that moment, a breeze blows on the street. When the main character bends down a little, she pays attention to the height of the fence. She realizes that now that she is there, the distance to the ground seems very large. One of the knights at this time cries out to the mist that the wind is getting stronger, so he asks to go down, but the girl replies, "No." At that moment, the lady's foot slips and she begins to fall, but when she closes her eyes in anticipation of pain, then she feels someone grabbing her. This person says, "What a beauty," and the girl wonders if she is really alive, and she even wonders who caught her. It turns out to be Kyle's sister. The woman claims that she drives and looks cute and asks if she wants to go for a walk with her. The main character immediately realizes that this is Clare Child. Amelia thinks that this is her goddess and also her favorite of all the characters. Amelia says that she is so beautiful, and the woman replies that the lady is pretty. The main character realizes that it seems she has fallen in love with her again, but at that very moment someone screams out to miss. They turn out to be knights. But when one of them sees Lady Clare, he is a little surprised. The woman immediately asks who this nice person is, and the main character replies that she was just passing by. The knights immediately say that this is Amelia Dine, and the Duke treats her like a future duchess they also officially meet. The main character wonders if they really know her full name, and if they've been making fun of her all this time. The brunette at this time says that she can tell why he brought the lady to his home. She is sweet and elegant, and the girl's eyes are full of passion. Once you dress her up, there will be no end of suitors. The main character asks what she is talking about, and the woman replies that her name is Clare Child, and the woman asks if Amelia would agree to go for a walk with her. The main character thinks that her heart is in danger, and the lovely smile in their family is probably inherited. In general, she shouldn't have walked with her because she was planning to run away. But the woman at the same moment wonders if something is wrong and if she is against it. The main character immediately shakes her head as if answering no and thinks how poor her heart is because she has no choice. Let's not forget that it was she who plunged all of Kyle's brothers into eternal sleep. A short time later, they head to the other side of the Child estate. The main character wonders if the lady has just returned from the Tria Empire. The woman replies that she loves traveling because it gives her a sense of freedom, and she can go wherever she wants. After which, she also hands the main character tea from the most famous store in this empire and offers to try it. Amelia, looking at this tea, wonders if she will pass out or something, after which she takes a sip of this tea. But at the same moment, she becomes shocked and claims that she can taste strawberries. At this time, the woman asks if it is really delicious, and the main character thinks that she is far from being a nice and friendly character. Well, her heart is beating faster and faster. The woman at this time approaches the lady and says that she is glad that Amelia is there, and to be honest, I didn't want to go back there precisely because she was all alone, and she always wanted to have a younger sister. The girl thinks that there is enough space there because she does not understand why the woman sat so close. Amelia understands that her heart is about to explode, and she doesn't know why, but Kyle's sister still liked her, so maybe she'll be able to turn the situation to her advantage. Kyle doesn't like Clare, which is why everyone thinks he's a monster. And Clare thinks that it is his burden as a duke, because he himself did not dare to dirty his hands. They do not like each other, and that is all. If she gets close to Clare, maybe Kyle will hate her, although this plan is not without flaws. The woman at this time shows Amelia a dress and tells her to look at it, because it is the most fashionable in Madrian, which is the city of passion. The main character turns around and asks if it's true, but when she looks at the dress, she realizes that it's too revealing. The woman at this time is interested in whether it is really attractive, and evening dresses are now popular in Madrid. They are called look-through. The woman then offers the lady to try it on, and the main character, a little embarrassed, wonders if she really needs to try it on. A little while later, the girl is already putting on the whip, and the brunette says that she knew it. After all, the lady looks amazing. The main character understands that she is a little awkward, but this dress really fits well. And it looks both attractive and elegant. At the same time, someone else comes into the room and says that's where Amelia is. The main character understands that this is Kyle's voice, and this is expected, but notes of cold are heard even from there. The girl immediately turns around and asks Kyle how he's doing, But the guy just looks at her in surprise, after which he turns around and leaves. The Duke also slams the door behind him, and the main character thinks what she did and why he is so angry. It's probably because yesterday he told her about his sister, and now he feels betrayed since she's spending time with her. The lady understands that she is guilty, so she needs to change, after which she asks to forgive. Her Clare claims that everything is fine, so let Lalo follow him. It seems the Duke is not feeling well, and she only asks to visit her again. The woman understands that she has never seen her brother like this, and perhaps she should have stayed in the capital for some time since dear Amelia is there. A little while later, the main character runs down the street and doesn't even notice how she tears her dress. A little while later, she bursts into the Duke's room and sees him sitting in front of the window. The girl immediately hugs him tightly and apologizes. She claims that she is guilty of reminding him of the past and asks how she can make amends for her guilt. When a guy doesn't answer, the lady wonders if he's really that angry that he doesn't want to talk. At this time, the brunette only tells her to kiss him, and the main character is surprised. After which she agrees and asks if he will feel better then. At this time, the brunette just starts counting to 3, and when he reaches the end, then the main character sees his smile and claims that she thought he was angry. The guy replies that actually, considering how many men saw her on the way there, Amelia asks if he wasn't upset, but the brunette asks why. The girl thinks that she made it up herself, at least she doesn't have to worry anymore, and the girl sighs and says that this is great, because she was already afraid that she had hurt him. The brunette asks if she really ran from there because she thought he was angry when he saw her with his sister, and she continues to run away from him, although she shows with all her appearance that she wanted to stay. Amelia wonders if her desire to escape was really so obvious. The lady also has no idea why she was so worried about his well-being, and she ran there without paying attention to the fact that her shoes were rubbing her feet. And the dress is torn, and now the girl thinks that it is quite painful. At this time, the brunette sits the lady on the windowsill, and he says that he doesn't like Clare, but he doesn't mind if they have fun together while he's away. The main character understands that he is stronger than she thought about your logs this time, asks if she really didn't notice how the shoes rubbed her feet. And also, so worried about him, brunette says that, to be honest, he doesn't like the dress Clare gave her. The main character asks what's wrong with Togo, after which the guy starts to rub the lady's dress, and also tells her to guess what he wants to do. Amelia screams that it is a gift. But the guy says that it's already torn anyway, and he also prepared gifts for her, but didn't the lady see them while she was running there? The main character understands that she was immersed in her thoughts, but she remembers a certain pile of gifts and wonders if they are all for her. The brunette at this time says that he did not know what the lady would like, so he brought many different ones. Amelia thinks that she certainly understands that he is rich, but this is too much, after which she screams at him that it was not worth buying her so much, and asks if this means that his gift is needed, and he is not there. Amelia thinks that this is not what she wanted to say. She does not understand. Does he really not like this dress? After which the lady asks if this dress doesn't suit her? The brunette only gets embarrassed by this, and the girl realizes that he has that expression on his face again. Kyle at this time asks if she was interested and why he then blushed and avoided her. Amelia replies that she thought that he did, and probably did not want to see his sister's gift on her. The guy responds to this by claiming that the lady looks too attractive in this dress, and it drives him crazy. She didn't have the strength to run away, and besides, they counted to 3. The main character asks if he was really waiting for her to catch her breath, and the guy replies that otherwise it wouldn't last long, and he was waiting for this moment, so he wanted to stretch it out. When the girl wants to say something else, she turns to Kyle, but he says that she can finish her sentence later. Amelia wonders what later means and how long it will last, but it would be nice if time stood still now. When the guy moves away, the main character thinks why he stopped because it was so nice, but she knew that she had to run away from him. The Duke at this time says that the question is written right on her face about why they didn't continue, and the girl thinks that since he knew, why stop? At this time, the brunette asks if she wants more, and the lady replies that she wants a little bit and no more. Well, the guy replies that he thinks not, and the girl asks when she said that. Kyle claims that she was pushing him away the whole time, and the main character realizes that she didn't even notice how she was eating his jacket. She was probably subconsciously worried about what would happen to her life if things continued like this. At this time, the Duke draws attention to the lady's hands and says that she has pale skin, after which he suggests that she say whether there is a reason why she is pushing him away. The girl thinks what to answer to this because if he had not been self-destructive, she would have locked herself in a room with him for a couple of days. But she can't answer like that, and the brunette at this time says that maybe she didn't like their first time, but the girl at the same moment screams that she liked him. The lady screams, "What kind of fiction is this?" and let him apologize to Kyle from the past, because how could she not like it when he tried so hard, and how can the Duke be so unsure of himself? Well, at that very moment, the lady gets embarrassed and thinks why she doesn't think before saying something. The brunette takes off his jacket and says that this is why the lady has caught a cold. He throws a jacket on her. The girl screams that she had to constantly take cold showers when she returned home to drive thoughts of him away. Kyle says that he is even interested in what exactly the lady was thinking about, and the girl understands that it would be easier to just shut up. The Duke kisses the woman on the forehead and wonders if she is still thinking about those things. But the girl thinks how could it be otherwise because he is so attractive and cute and all that. However, she claims that she will not even think of answering. The lady thinks he's too cute for the one who must destroy everything, and the brunette says that if she hopes to sleep peacefully tonight, she should stop touching him. Amelia immediately removes her hands and claims that she was just playing with his hair. The young man says that there is no need to smile so joyfully with dimples on her cheeks. The main character immediately asks why he suddenly has so many prohibitions, and the guy replies that he is talking about the same children. They are officially a couple. So maybe the lady will at least tell why she continues to push him away. But at that very moment, the brunette guesses something about the girl and thinks that his facial expression is putting her into a stupor. At this time, the Duke grabs the lady by the hand and then asks if she really wanted this. The girl immediately says to the man that she can say that first he should ask her permission to ask what he can take by the hand and cross his fingers. The brunette claims that he remembers, but now the matter is different, and Letty should have said earlier that she would like more innocent joys. Amelia asks what he is talking about and how it is connected to the fact that he took her hand. The guy says that tomorrow he will call the craftsman and the lady will be able to choose what she likes. Amelia asks, what exactly? To which the guy replies that he has engagement rings for their ceremony, and if he wants these, he can pick out a wedding ring too. Amelia is shocked by this and thinks that it must be a dream, and so the next morning she wakes up and the dream continues. One of the maids turns to the lady and says that it is time to choose shoes. The girl understands that he didn't forget to remind her about it in the morning. The brunette claimed that he needed to visit the city on imperial business and let the girl sleep and then pick out engagement rings for them. Now the main character thinks that she has a headache and then sighs. The maid asks if the lady doesn't like this headlight, to which the main character replies that she doesn't answer. They're not beautiful. Amelia, looking at the shoes, understands that they are all beautiful, but she wonders how much it all costs and whether she could afford them when she was a student. The Duke's gifts seemed excessive to her, but they were just the tip of the iceberg. The main character says they think they are not removing goods from stores. But at the same moment, the main character notices another dress. Reeves screams, "What is this?" The maid at this time wonders if the lady doesn't know Fairmont Victoria's secret, because it's a very famous brunette in lingerie. Thinks that this dress doesn't look too attractive in this one, because I also think how they made this translucent layer, and why is there fur on it? The main character thinks that he won't like Claire's gift, and she hopes that he won't ask to wear it. Amelia tries to calm down and asks if it's worth taking a break because she didn't think that you can find out by opening gifts. Claire says that today the lady is as sweet as always, and the main character says that today the lady said it more than 100 times. The girl understands that in the novel the brunette liked to be there, so why does she constantly come and sit with her for several hours? Amelia wonders why the lady thinks she's cute, and the woman replies that it's because of her behavior. Seeing how a lady reacts to things makes you want to tease her even more, and she never gets tired of looking at her facial expression at such moments. That's why she thinks she's cute. Amelia realizes that she didn't expect such a detailed explanation, and it's embarrassing, and in general, it sounded like the lady was having fun. The woman at this time turns to the girl and says that the artisans from whom she will choose the rings have arrived. The girl understands that finally, and this is the right time. A little while later, a lot of people enter the room, and the girl realizes that she expected 1 or 2 people to come. At this time, the brunette tells them to show their work, and the girl understands that it seems like it will be more difficult than opening gifts. At this time, the woman tells the lady to choose what she likes, and when the girl looks at the rings, she thinks that they are all so luxurious. But she doesn't understand why the place for the stone is empty and asks if they haven't finished yet. The man claims that the Duke has not yet sent them the stone, and the girl asks if it will be a diamond or something like that. The craftsman then asks if the diamond is suitable for the future Duchess, and the brunette replies that he is right, and also asks if the lady thinks that Kyle will send a simple diamond. The main character thinks, since when diamonds became commonplace, after which it understands that in the book there is one stone that is more expensive than a diamond, and it was mentioned in the book. The girl says that he is unlikely to want to use the rare aerite crystal because it would be too expensive for engagement rings. In his mind, people will forgive him for saying that she is right. Well, the woman asks if Amelia rarely attends social events. The main character wonders why such a question. And the woman replies that just a couple of weeks ago, the entire continent was buzzing about the Duke planning to buy the aerite crystal at a huge price. The main character is shocked and wonders why she didn't know anything about it. She also says that maybe the guy wants to buy it for himself, because the acquisition of this stone will benefit Kyle's business. The woman notes that he already has one such stone, and it was inherited by him. Amelia understands that everything is so because the guy should be a super strong main character who does not need a Rita. The heart of the universe of this book is the life story of a destroyed mega-millionaire, and to see this crystal on you is like having superpowers, and besides it is very expensive. After all, by acquiring it, you receive this power. The aerite crystal sent by the gods to people is very rare, and its cost is probably 100 times higher than the price of a high-quality diamond. Even if someone gets the crystal, it does not mean that he will be able to use it. Only if it falls into the hands of a strong person who desperately dreams of something, only then will this stone fulfill his one wish. For example, if a person who is drowning says that he does not want to plunge into eternal sleep in the water, then this will be his desire. Then the crystal will give him the ability to breathe underwater or the ability to swim like a fish. Moreover, there are some conditions for owning the crystal since it came to them from the bugs. One person can only own one crystal, and if someone gave you a crystal, then in order to get rid of it, you will need to get permission from the giver. In short, if the Duke really wants to use the crystal for rings, then she will have to wear it for the rest of her days unless he allows her to leave. But in this case, she will choose a ring in which it is difficult to fit the stone so that it could crumble during production. Well, then the main character thinks which one is the most difficult to make because she has never worn rings before. One of the men at this time turns to them and claims that this is a classic engagement ring that is very suitable for the Duke's family. The stone that will be attached there must be limited by a circular method due to which it will sparkle brightly. The main character asks if this is really so, to which the man cries out that yes, cutting in this way implies the creation of 58 facets, which will emphasize the natural beauty of the stone, and many prefer a simpler method since it is extremely difficult, but he can handle it. The girl immediately smiles and thinks that she has no idea what he is talking about, but it sounds very complicated, after which she claims that it is good and will rely on him. The lady also asks to limit it to the most difficult circular method because it will be her only wedding ring, and understands that if it breaks during creation, then nothing can be done. If this stone is spoiled for her, then she can use it. To distance herself from Kyle by saying that she feels very guilty and can't look him in the eye, so she hopes that Sir will destroy this crystal crumb, and he will cope. The brunette at this time says that the lady is so sweet in every action, and she understands why the Duke is in a hurry to make the rings before the Thanksgiving banquet. Amelia wonders why exactly until this day, and realizes that Clare returned precisely because of Thanksgiving. The woman claims that there is probably no reason as such, and he just wants to hold the ceremony as soon as possible after Thanksgiving Day because the Emperor will not allow the ceremony to be held on the date. The main character understands that yes, after all, in the book, the Emperor is a rather strange person. He will not allow any celebration to take place until his Thanksgiving banquet takes place. Well, in any case, you shouldn't put all your hopes on this, and although there is only 1 month left until the banquet, her only hope now is the craftsman, so she mentally asks him to crush the crystal. A week later, someone contacts them and claims that the craftsman who made the ring has arrived. He asks to meet her, and the knight wonders what to answer him. The main character asks if he really came, and didn't the man say that he would need a month? The girl also smiles and understands that something happened, and also says that she will meet him right now. So let the knight bring him, after which the lady thinks that it worked, and thanks the Lord. A little while later, the knights bring in a trembling craftsman, and the main character thinks that the poor fellow has damaged the crystal and is now a windbag of fear. The lady says that she was told that he wanted to talk to her, but she understands that in any case she will not let anyone harm him. At this time, the man suggests that the miss get ready, and the girl replies that she is ready for anything. The craftsman immediately opens the box and cries out that he no longer has the strength to open it. Amelia understands with a smile on her face that people are prone to mistakes, but when she looks into the box, she wonders what it is. The man screams that the disease just looked again from his best work in his entire life. Amelia looks at this with disappointment, and the man cries out, "What will the lady say? Because he tried so hard and didn't eat or sleep, the duchy supported him in every possible way." The main character tensely says that it is wonderful, but thinks how much money Kyle packed in it, after which the lady closes the box, and turns around and the men scream that Miss can try it on, to which the lady replies that it is a ring with an arete crystal, and she will not be able to take it off without the Duke's permission if she tries it on. Well, she wants to save her emotions of admiration until the ceremony. The girl also asks for thoughts that someone would steal him until that time. But at that very moment, someone enters the room and asks if the ring is ready. Amelia understands that it is the Duke, but wonders why he appeared now. The man at this time offers to show him the ring, and the craftsman answers that, of course. Just let His Majesty be careful, because this is the best work of his entire life. The brunette then turns to Amelia and takes her hand in his, and the girl asks him to wait. The guy claims that the size should fit, but it's still better to check how it looks on her, and then he puts a ring on her. When he does this, the main character feels energy on her finger and understands that that's it, and that it really is arete. And it's also interesting what wish will come true, because her instinct screams that she needs to run away from everything dangerous. This may even give her the ability to teleport the door. While lying down, she will be able to move at the speed of light. Then the lady gives her hand to the Duke and hears someone say that it suits her very well. This voice claims that any decoration will look great on her. He wonders if she liked it too, to which people respond that yes, she likes it. The guy is a little surprised and thinks that the lady answered so modestly and read his thoughts. After which, he kisses everyone's hand and says that he is glad. Then, well, in his thoughts, he adds that he preferred to kiss her himself and not just her hand. The main character at this time turns around embarrassedly and suggests that Kyle not say such a thing to the new guy, claiming that he was silent, after which they thought that maybe they should ask everyone to come out and kiss her, although they would like to do more than just kiss her. Amelia thinks that this means that he was silent. At this time he smiles but thinks that it will not work, and he needs to take her to his room. People looking at the poplar dish that he is actually silent, but probably it's all the work of the ring, and now she can read the Duke's thoughts. The man at this time adds in his thoughts that when they get there, he will put her to bed. The girl understands that she can't believe that he thinks about such a sugar day or a prominent facial expression, after which Letty locks his hand and says that he has already looked at the ring enough. But the brunette says that the ring suits the lady so well and wonders if he stared too long. Your grandma can't. She read his dirty little thoughts now? Although she already knows what he was thinking about up to this point, and now you can't fool her with that puppy look. The main character also thinks that if she takes his hand again and claims that the guy can look since he wants to so much because he bought this ring, at that moment the lady hears his thoughts that he can't wait any longer, and as he approaches the lady, then the main character moves away a little and closes her eyes. Rinat is a little surprised in response to this, after which he fixes the lady's hair. Amelia opens her eyes in surprise and then turns to Kyle. The girl thinks that she imagined that he was about to kiss her. The subject claims that he just wanted to fix her hair, but thinks that the lady won't like it if he doesn't ask permission before kissing her, and he doesn't want to anger her. Amelia understands that the Duke is a man who can destroy everything, but he backed down because she might not like it. The lady also thinks that the crystal is really behind what happened, after which she apologizes to the maids. And she claims that the Duke said that she needed to fix her hair and also wondered if they could help her with this. One of the maids immediately agrees, after which she straightens the lady's hair and thinks that she cannot believe that the mistress asked her to do this. The girl also thinks how the lady manages to be so elegant, and it is not surprising that the Duke is crazy about her, and the lady is both beautiful and attractive, and also they almost kissed just now. The main character hears all these thoughts and understands that this is another confirmation of Arate's power. She can read the thoughts of those she touches, and it doesn't matter how exactly. The maid tells the lady that everything is ready, and the girl thanks her. The Duke asks if she likes the ring perfectly. After all, he asked the craftsman to make it a little faster when he found out that the girl liked the design. Amelia understands that he clearly did not make it much faster because the man did not sleep or eat. Amelia claims that she really likes it and thanks the Duke, who says that if this is so, then maybe he deserves a reward, and for example a kiss on the cheek. The girl thinks how to refuse after she heard his thoughts. Well then, she grabs the brunette by the clothes and thinks, what difference does it make? After which she kisses him. Well, when the lady is about to let him go, the Duke grabs her and pulls her towards him. After which she kisses him so that he sees that he cannot believe that the lady herself kissed him for the first time. Amelia understands that it was supposed to be a light peck and not a kiss, but the girl also thinks how the Duke kisses well. At the same moment, she hears his thoughts in which he claims that he wants her. The girl is drawn to this and thinks whether he really wants her. Amelia also understands that there was one time when she herself felt it, but because the book was the main character, then she tried not to take him seriously, and the person who was now in front of her. There are feelings and emotions. Olasia also hears how to give, thinks that this is still not enough, but you need to control yourself, because if he does not want the lady to hate him. The main character hearing this thinks how to reject him now after hearing this. The girl wonders if he is really serious about her, who is not the main character of the novel. At this time, the brunette asks if the lady wants to continue wearing this ring, to which the girl replies that she does not, and she immediately takes it off, after which she asks the guy to help her. Well, when he is silent, so the main character understands what she said and thinks that it just blurted out. Because of what she heard, all the thoughts in her head got confused. Amelia claims that she didn't really want to take it off, but maybe she'll get used to it and won't admire it so much at the ceremony. The brunette at the same moment asks if the lady is really so impatiently awaiting the ceremony, to which he replies, well, the lady also thinks that, who knows, maybe this day will be the day of her funeral. She also claims that she did nothing today and is tired, and damn. He asks if she wants to go to bed early because tomorrow she has a busy schedule. The girl immediately gets ready to leave and claims that she will do so. But when she heads for the door, then the guy grabs her hand and says that she will of course sleep with him. After all, he won't let her escape. The main character is surprised by this, and the brunette insists that they would just hold hands and fall asleep. Amelia wonders why he continues to be so sweet. After this, the guy thinks that there is no chance that they will just sleep next to each other, and the main characters do not think that he will stop laughing at his own words. A little while later, the brunette invites her to pass and offers to take off the lady's ring. When the main character sees where he is pointing, she thinks why she needs to sit like that so that he can take it off. But the girl still sits down and understands that she needs to remain patient if she doesn't want to hear his thoughts again. The brunette kisses the lady's hand and claims that for the first time in his life, he is looking forward to the Thanksgiving feast. And the main character understands that in the book, Kyle didn't like to attend any events. There is a reason for this, because people who want to get the wealth and power of the Childs will gather there. And besides, they consider the Duke a monster, so the guy tried in every possible way to avoid participating in various events. The main character at this time turns to Kyle and asks if he really likes this holiday. The guy replies that it is only because they will go together. And besides, he is worried that some other guy might take her away. The young man also thinks that he will be able to enjoy the holiday since he will not be there alone. And he also wants everyone to know about their relationship so he can quickly put a ring on her finger. When the main character watches the guy leave, she thinks that he has changed. The lady didn't think that with her, he would start to rejoice in what he had previously hated. And the brunette claims that he is saving the ring until the engagement, and the girl understands that in the end it will all end with him destroying the world. The lady has no idea what it was about her that affected him, but he is no longer cold and cruel like he was in the book. Kyle at this time says that it seems to him that yes, and maybe she will put on some other ring before the engagement. The main character understands that it is difficult to resist how small and distant he is from his destiny in the novel, after which he thinks whether it is really worth pushing him away because he is not the one from the book. At this time, the brunette asks whether the lady wants this ring to be with a coating or with a sapphire, and the girl replies that she does not need it. Amelia realizes that she wants him to be hers. The brunette at this time says that he heard that ladies do not like balls and parties. The main character is shocked and asks if this is true and thinks that she doesn't know. Because the book didn't say anything about it, Kyle adds that she doesn't like them after what happened at the debutante ball, but he says that it must be just gossip, to which the lady replies that no, and he is right. The girl realizes that she has forgotten about the incident described in Amelia Dine's diary. At the debutante ball, where the counts and countesses were selling their gold, she fell down the stairs. Now the girl says that this time everything will be fine because Kyle is with her. The lady also thinks that if she remembered this situation earlier, she could use it as a reason not to go. The brunette is immediately happy and says that of course and let the lady trust him. Amelia thinks that since he likes it so much, it's the least she can do. The guy says that tomorrow he will start preparing for the banquet since he will be introducing his bride to everyone. The main character says that she doesn't think it's necessary, but her interlocutor replies that he thinks so. Right before the banquet, the girl realized what exactly Kyle was preparing for and walking through the garden. The lady realizes that she was pushed out to go for a walk. The tipsy girl comes back and realizes that drinking wine in the garden at sunset is the best thing that could happen in life. A little while later, the lady claims that she has returned and Kyle meets her. The main character says that she heard how beautifully the roses bloomed and decided to take a walk, after which she asks what he is doing there. The girl also thinks that she looks very drunk. The brunette says that he is from the meadow and teaches him to dance because he does not know how at all. Well, his protege notes that this is true. The Duke practiced. Amelia understands that it doesn't seem to her at all that they danced, and even more so that the cutter was the maester, so the girl asks if this is true. She also thinks how the Duke cannot dance. But the brunette claims that this is not an easy task, so he does not think that he has become better at it even after training with Hyde. Well, he would like to be her ideal partner. The main character understands that since he avoided participating in events, it is quite logical that he cannot dance. But still, what difference does it make? And the girl asks if he wants her to help, after which the lady drags him to the middle of the fat of love and paints him. Is it true that she will help? When the music starts playing, the lady starts dancing and realizes that she has already trained with Clare, who often attends events. When they continue dancing, the brunette stumbles a little, but the main character immediately grabs him. The girl says that it seems he doesn't know how to dance, to which he replies that for now, yes. The lady says that the Duke, who is the favorite of all women, must be able to dance the waltz much better, but the guy replies that he does not need other girls. At this time, Amelia only says that it seems like she is the only one leading the dance, and the guy is talking. As he looks at it, she likes it, but the lady still says that she would like to change places. The brunette immediately asks if this is true, and then the lady hears some kind of knocking. When she turns around, she wonders where the butler went, but at that very moment the brunette pushes the lady a little, and then he grabs her completely. The main character thinks, how is that possible, because this is a movement from a more advanced level. At this time, the Duke says that since the lady wants him to lead, then so be it. And since, in her opinion, he is so bad at waltzing, he should take her to bed. When they get there, the main character says that he can't do it. Well, the guy claims that he thought she said she could, and the lady says the opposite. The girl thinks that she shouldn't do anything, but then she also thinks, why push him away? At this time, the brunette takes off the lady's earrings and throws them on the floor and then undresses completely. He asks if the lady will count to 3 this time, to which she replies, of course. The lady starts her count, but this time she counts to 3, and the brunette kisses her at the same moment. The main character is a little surprised by this, and the guy suggests that the lady say if she is against it, and then he will retreat, because he loves her. The main character gets up from the bed and turns to him again, and then he even wonders why he stopped and whether he needs to continue. At this time, the brunette tells her to wait, after which one of the commanders opens the door. The main character sees some candies and realizes that they are intended for contraception. It is enough to eat one for 100% protection, after which the brunette takes one of them in his mouth. The main character looks at him a little embarrassed, after which everyone asks him what these candies taste like. The guy asks if she wants to try it, after which he hands her the candy with a kiss. The next morning, the main character wakes up and realizes that, to be honest, when someone tries to seduce her, her strength leaves her completely. The girl understands that she decided to stop rejecting Kyle, but still she shouldn't have given herself to him so quickly. The lady understands that if she continues to live in the Duke's estate, it will not be very good, and although I am of course luxurious, all the servants do everything to make her feel comfortable there. Well, she herself does nothing for this, although it does not seem that Kyle is leaning towards self-destruction, but she still cannot afford to live at his expense. Bennett pulls the lady towards him and asks what she is thinking about so much. The girl replies that she is thinking about nothing, after which the guy asks if she can't sleep or if something is bothering her. The main character replies that nothing of the sort, but at that very moment the guy guesses something himself. The girl realizes that he looks like he just got an idea, and the guy immediately becomes interested. Is she thinking about the child? Amelia is shocked by this and wonders if he really means their child. The lady also asks if the guy wants to get a pet, to which he replies no. The girl asks why he suddenly mentioned the child. The guy replies that he would be beautiful if he looked like a lady. But it's probably too early to think about that. The girl sighs heavily and thinks that it's even too early. She also doesn't understand whether they are participating in a race since the concept of speed limits is unfamiliar to him. Amelia claims that they haven't even gotten married yet and wonders why he started talking about a child so abruptly, since he didn't even think about it with Vanessa, who was the main character of the novel. Kyle claims that if you don't go into details that would make them a family, the girl asks what this is, after which the brunette claims that then Amelia would become his forever. The main character is a little embarrassed and asks if this is really true, even considering that she is with him for the money. The brunette then says that it's good that the lady reminded him and she doesn't have to worry about them, because even if he goes bankrupt now, their grandchildren will be able to lead a decent life on his savings. The main character says that she is talking about the fact that her motive is pure self-interest. The guy says that he doesn't like it. If she really needed money, wouldn't she be eager to become a duchess as soon as possible and seduce him to carry out her selfish plan? The guy also asks if it is enough for her to be just his bride, because he has already repeated many times that he can give her everything she wants. The main character thinks what happened to his character, and maybe he hit his head. The brunette then apologizes for raising the topic of children, and he knows that such issues are resolved together. The main character asks how he knows, to which the guy replies that from books such as 10 Steps to a Happy Family and 19 Tips for Loving Husbands. The main character is embarrassed after this and wonders where he dug them up. Damn, he should say that she doesn't have to worry about the child. And if she can't calm down, then he will ask her to brew some tea from Kabikus in the morning. The main character understands that this is the same magic tea that 100% guarantees the absence of pregnancy, and the Duke says that just by the way he is sure that he would become a good father. The main character is a little surprised, after which he realizes that in the book Kyle didn't even think about children because he was afraid that he wouldn't be able to raise them well and would repeat his father's mistakes. He was also worried that the child would resurrect his own childhood memories. That's why the girl is now wondering if Kyle really wants a child. The brunette confirms it. What he's really worried about is that he'll be treated too coldly the way his father treated him. But can he really treat the child that Amelia gave birth to badly? And he loves her very much and also wants the lady to always smile. The main character then turns away, and he asks, what if she doesn't want to have children? Is it possible to ask if this doesn't mean that his heart will belong only to her? And he also likes this development of events. Let the lady not be afraid, because if they have children, he will love him or her, especially if they are like Amelia. The main character starts to cry and thinks that she wonders how much pain Kyle has endured. The brunette at this time asks what it is and offers the lady to look at it. The girl understands that in order to say that he does not want to be like his father, and that he will do everything so that his child does not experience the same thing that he himself almost never did. Is it possible to push him away after that? So she decided that even if Kyle left her in the future for Vanessa, until then she will love him with all her heart. Even if he leaves her, she will not be sad for long. The guy's heart is beating louder and louder at this time, and he claims that as long as he has a lady, he will not become like his father. He also turns to the girl and asks if she also listens so warmly to other people. Amelia says that she has no idea what he is talking about because this is her normal body temperature, and besides him, she hasn't hugged anyone for a long time, so she's not sure what other people feel. The brunette at the same moment asks if it turns out that he is her first, and the girl is a little silent, and also understands that it seems she dug her own grave. The lady asks what is this because her strength suddenly left her. If this continues, they will sit until dawn, so she says goodnight to Kyle. The lady understands that there are enough events from tonight. But the brunette at the same moment says that she doesn't have to answer because he's sure that he knows the answer. The main character asks where this is from, and the young man replies that it is because he remembers their first night. The girl wonders if this means that she wasn't that good back then, and the guy asks, why does she get up? The lady wanted to sleep and he himself is already sleepy, but the main character presses him to the bed. And he also says that he made her angry, so now she shouldn't even think about just falling asleep. The brunette immediately kisses her and says that she too, and also thinks that the lady fell for it. The girl understands this, but although she thinks that she is not against it day after day, she fell into his sweet traps. And finally, the day of the banquet arrived. Clare asks if the services seem to be of any use to them, that ribbons would suit Amelia better than lace. The woman examines the fabrics. And the main character thinks that today she is even more beautiful, and her favorite is a real queen. At this time, the woman turns to the lady and asks what she is looking at so intently. The main character also comes out of her thoughts and thinks that she can't say that she admired her beautiful face. Amelia claims that the lady said she was there for Thanksgiving and wonders if she will be leaving after it. The woman freezes and wonders why. The girl wonders if she said something wrong. But the woman continues her sentence and wonders why she is so damn cute. She also claims that although she loves to travel, she would never miss her Amelia's engagement ceremony, and she is sure that the lady will be irresistible in her dress. The main character thinks, since when did she become her Amelia? And if she continues to call her that, she won't sit still either. The main character, Togo, even hugs the girl and says that she loves spending time with her sister. The woman is a little surprised by this and asks if Amelia really just did it. She called her sister and then let her continue to address her that way, to which the girl agreed. At this time, the Duke also enters the room and asks what they are doing there. The main character is a little surprised and asks when Kyle came there. At the same moment, the two relatives exchange glances and the brunette turns to Amelia, asking if she's ready, yet the girl replies that yes, it's all thanks to Clare. At that moment, the two exchange glances again, and the brunette says that if that's the case, the main character decides to take Kyle away before he causes any trouble and invites him to go with her. The girl stands in front of the mirror and asks how she looks, and if it suits her, Kyle only swallows. And the main character asks if he doesn't like it too, which he replies that there's no chance that he won't like it. And also, she is beautiful and elegant. The girl asks if this is all, and thinks why he is so embarrassed today. The killer wants to tease him. But the guy at the same moment again exchanges glances with his sister and remains silent. The main character realizes that she thought she had managed to switch his attention to herself, but they were still staring at each other. At this time, the guy turns to his sister and asks what she will say. The woman then looks at the maid, and she understands that her turn has come. The girl claims that Mrs. Beauty is so amazing that it is difficult to even describe in words. But that glittery ribbon hair clip on her golden hair looks absolutely stunning, and I'm sure the lady will shine even in low light. The two are still silent about the maid, claiming that of course this is not all. The cream pink dress that Miss chose after the 7 returned to it among others sways as she walks, and Miss will undoubtedly be the prettiest among all the guests invited to the banquet. The woman claims that she can add that the most expressive part of the outfit is the emerald brooch. And the diamonds on Uliana's chest show the wealth of the Child family. Its color matches the color of Amelia's eyes, which adds depth to them. At this time, the brunette says that he doesn't understand why no one noticed the silk gloves, which complements the image so wonderfully. The woman at this time understands that he is not a failure, and he claims that maybe it would be a good idea to give her a fan, since Letty has put on such a seductive and sweet perfume. The guy claims that a fan with griffin feathers would fit in perfectly, because it is very soft. Well, when he wants to add something else, the main character thinks that this is all very strange, and mentally asks them to stop. The two continue to discuss, and the girl wonders since when they communicate so well. A little while later, they are already heading in the carriage, and when it arrives, then the lady thinks that they finally got out because she is already exhausted. Claire says that Amelia is a little pale and asks if everything is okay. The girl replies that she is just a little nervous, and the woman says that high society is like a battlefield. If she behaves like this, she will be torn to pieces, and the main character thinks that these words will make her even more scared. At this time, a petal falls on her shoe, and the woman points to it and then asks, "What will the girl do with this petal?" The main character thinks for a while, after which she claims that he is handsome, so she will just shake him off well when a girl does that. Then the flower comes back sticking to her dress, and the woman says, "That's what happens." When a lady lets go of something just because it's pretty and tiny, the woman throws that petal on the floor, after which he crushes it with his heel and says that if someone looks down on a lady, then let her fix the problem. After all, simply pushing away is not enough, and this thing comes back, so after one steps on it, so that she couldn't even think about returning to her, the child family would take care of the consequences. The main character at this time thinks that sister is scaring her. The woman is talking. That the lady is the Duke's fiancée, which means that others will know about her every step, and he asks if she understands what she is talking about. Amelia realizes that she didn't know then that her advice would really come in handy. A little while later, the main character is again heading in a carriage with the child family. The girl understands that thinking about the imperial palace gives the impression that she is driving into a minefield. The first mine is the nobles invited to the banquet who whisper behind Kyle's back. The second is Prince Bertilbon de Gil, also known as Bertie, and in the novel it was because of him that Kyle started the war. Match Bertie, who was the first empress and the most beloved among other women, fell into eternal sleep when Bertie was born. She was from the child family and was Kyle's aunt. So in their youth, Kyle and Bertie spent a lot of time together. Kyle considered him his only friend, and after his wife's eternal sleep, the emperor lost his mind and began to pursue Genin, completely forgetting about his duties as a ruler. Soon many of the child family appeared in the palace, and it is perhaps understandable why Bertie does not feel safe in the presence of Kyle, whose family is controlled by the creator. Eventually, the prince did something that changed Kyle completely. He invited all the nobles to his birthday party, and Kyle's son sent him a letter with the wrong address. The brunette came to the appointed place with expensive gifts, not yet knowing that no one else would show up there. To top it off, the prince and his retinue came there and ridiculed the Duke. The Duke asked if he had never considered him his friend. Well, the prince just laughed and claimed that the guy was just his wallet and he had to somehow pay for what his sisters were squandering. It doesn't matter how rich he is the prince of this country, and the guy thinks he has forgotten about it. So let him remember his place from now on. The third and final mine is Kyle himself. After that incident, he realized that people were using him for money and they didn't care about him. So he stopped expecting anything from others and went over to the side of destruction. He started a war that practically destroyed the entire world with his money. His goal was to show people what it was like to have everything they had destroyed by the money they cherished so much. Knowing this, the Thanksgiving banquet seems to her like an interlude to a symphony called Debacle. At this time, the brunette turns his attention to the lady and asks if she is okay. The girl replies that she is just a little nervous and asks if the prince will be attending the banquet. The guy replies that he will, and that he heard that he was punished for causing inconvenience to his sisters. He also asks if the lady is worried about him, to which the girl replies that he is a prince, so she thinks she would be very nervous if she had to introduce herself to him. Amelia realizes that it would be better for Kyle and the prince not to meet. At this point, the guy says that that's it, and since the lady is worried, he can make sure that he doesn't show up at any events in the future, but the lady immediately replies that this is already unnecessary. She also grabs Kyle's hand and states that the world needs love and peace, and also people should not start wars. The guy then only repeats the word love, and the brunette's sister at this time says that peace is good and all that, but they are going to the battlefield. The main character immediately lets go of the Duke's hand, not realizing that she had completely forgotten that Clare was also there. The woman at this time claims that they are there, and when they all enter the ballroom, The brunette introduces Amelia and claims that she is his fiancée. The main character, with a smile on her face, claims that her name is Amelia Dine and she is glad to meet them. One of the aristocrats claims that the rumors about the lady's beauty are not at all exaggerated, while the other says that the lady is truly dazzlingly beautiful. A little while later, the brunette turns to Amelia and asks how she likes her first banquet. The girl replies that she likes it because everyone there is so nice. After which the guy asks if she could wait for him there with Clare for a minute because he needs to discuss a couple of things concerning business. The girl replies that of course, and let him not worry about her because she and Clare are peacefully drinking wine there. After which the lady waves to him and wishes him luck. The woman at this time offers Amelia to try this wine. After all, it is their chemistry that spreads it, so it must be good, to which the main characters agree. After which he drinks it, and the woman once again turns to the lady and asks if she has already seen the fountain, to which the girl replies that she has not. Clare says the marble statue is very beautiful, and it seems they paid special attention to the selection of the orchestra. After all the violin sounds especially good today, the main character realizes that she has somehow become talkative, as if trying to make her pay attention only to her, but at the same moment the main character hears someone say that the lady is from the Count's family and is bankrupt. Another woman says that she heard that they were not even allowed into the palace because they were so poor, and another man asks why the Count, who was the commander of the knights, became impoverished, and how the lady managed to woo the Duke. Surely her family sold her because the Duke would never love someone like that, and he probably thinks that the lady won't bother him since she comes from a bankrupt family. Whatever it is, love has nothing to do with it. The brunette points to something else at this time, and the main character understands that Clare was worried that their words would hurt her. The Duke returns at this time and claims that he had to stay a little longer. The woman at this time claims that she will go along with this, let them have fun, and the main character agrees, and also thanks her sister. The Duke asks if he has kept the lady waiting too long, and the girl realizes that his eyes are shining with love. So how can they say that he doesn't love her? The lady then remembers something. And then he turns to Kyle and asks if he wants to dance, since he tried so hard to learn to waltz. The guy smiles in response and asks if the lady wants other girls to see how much he loves her because they don't believe it. Then he invites the lady to go. The main character starts dancing and realizes that he doesn't have to lead because she knows that he's not very good at dancing. But as soon as the music starts playing, Letty is shocked and wonders if he can really dance so well. And did he really pretend before, so the girl thinks that she fell for the trick again? At this time, Kyle asks if this is all she can do. After all, he is sure that Clare advised the lady to step on the problem so that it does not arise again, and if they recover now, then people will continue to talk nonsense even after their wedding, and perhaps even their children will have to listen to the fact that their marriage was not for love. The main character understands that it is too early to think about children, and the brunette says that if the lady does not want this, then she needs to ask him for something specific. The lady then asks to kiss her on the cheek, and the guy immediately does so. He also asks if this is enough. After all, it seems that no one believed them. Amelia puffs out her cheeks and thinks that a kiss on the cheek really means nothing, and then everything is clear. So the lady turns to the brunette and tells him to kiss her so passionately and as freely as possible. A little while later, they are already standing on the street. The rest of the aristocrats watch them, and the main character turns to Kyle a little awkwardly. At this time, the guy presses the lady against the wall and says that she asked for it herself. So this time there will be no count to 3. At that very moment, he captures her lips with mine. At this time, other aristocrats tell others to look and become embarrassed. The brunette wonders if everything is as she planned, to which the lady replies that it probably is. And at least now, everyone thinks of him differently than before. The guys wonder if she was worried about his reputation in the eyes of others, to which the lady replies that yes, and at the same time took care of it. The brunette smiles in response, after which he claims that he loves Amelia, but at that very moment the girl shuts him up with a kiss. And the aristocrats watching this are delighted. The main character understands that she has prevented recognition. The brunette at this time tells the lady that there are plenty of empty bones in their rooms, and if she wants, the main character at this time asks what he is talking about and claims that the guy's acting skills are at their best because their viewers will be impressed. Kyle grabs the girl by the waist, wondering if she's thinking about him playing out a scene now. Amelia asks if she can ask him for a favor, and the guy immediately answers yes. The main character, with a smile on her face, claims that something has dried up in her corps de ballet. A golden glass of water has been combined. But when she notices the guy's disappointment, she even adds the word please. The Duke turns around and replies that, of course, and he will be there soon, and when he leaves, the main character sighs. After which he falls to the floor and also realizes that their kiss was something special. But at that very moment, the lady realizes that she has a feeling as if someone is watching her, but the crowd dispersed as soon as she sent Kyle away. When the lady looks into the bushes, she sees some woman there who then starts grinning. The main character, seeing this, is horrified and jumps up and starts running away. Amelia wonders who this suspicious stranger dressed as a woman was, and at this time he is heading after her. He screams for the girl to wait, and the main character realizes that he is pursuing her. After which she even asks what he needs and why he is dressed like a woman but speaks in a man's voice. When the lady turns back, she realizes that there is a dead end in that direction, and the blonde guy approaching her claims that he has finally caught up with her. The main character immediately jumps up so that he does not touch her, and he wonders if he even knows who she is, because she is the bride of Killian Child, or more precisely, Duke Child. The stranger claims that this is the reason he was pursuing her, after which he extends his hand to the lady and asks her not to resist and to follow him. The main character, looking at her, thinks who he takes her for, because she is the daughter of the legendary former commander of the Knights. Clare said that she needs to destroy anyone who tries to offend her so that no one else will dare to treat her unworthily, after which the lady hits this guy between the legs. She also claims that she may look cute and fragile, but she has strength, so it's time to put him behind bars. But at that very moment, the lady sees how the wig flies off because of this guy and thinks that vodka is such a strange thing. This guy has gray hair, and this color is a distinctive feature of the imperial family. And at present, there is only one young man in their family. The girl thinks, what kind of thoughts are these? And how can a madman who pursued someone else's bride turn out to be a prince? At this time, the young man asks if she knows who he is, and the main character only remains silent in response. And she also understands that apparently the stranger she hit is still the crown prince of the empire. At this time, the brunette is in the hall where the aristocrats are whispering among themselves. One of the ladies says how handsome he is. The Duke ignores all this and then goes outside and thinks that he can't even believe that the lady herself asked him to kiss her, and obeying someone else's will is not so bad. So from now on, he will try to make sure that she is the leader more often. And it would be especially good because she herself liked that at night. Well, at that very moment, the player approaches the place where the lady should be. He understands that the girl is not there and wonders where she went. Watch the moment the guy hears someone talking to him. And when she sees Amelia, she asks with tears in her eyes what she did. After all, she destroyed the future empire. The guy at the same moment throws glasses so that they break. He immediately runs to the lady and hugging her, thinking that Amelia said his name, looking at him with eyes full of tears. Kyle claims that everything is fine, after which he adds that he will rebuild the empire. It's not such an expensive event. At that moment, the parents run up to the prince and ask if he is okay. They also ask if he was attacked by a criminal. The guy immediately points to the lady, and he claims that this girl kicked him between the legs, but he was also given the chance to continue the family line. The knights immediately look at her in surprise, and the Duke embraces the lady and claims that what happened concerns his bride. Then he will take full responsibility. The girl immediately hears the guy's thoughts. He thinks whether he should wipe them off the face of the earth and build a new empire. Well, he probably wouldn't like it. The main character understands that he has already put a ring on her, but after all, it is impossible for a war to break out because of her. Therefore, the main character turns to the Duke and suggests that he first call a doctor for His Highness. The man replies that of course, and tells His Highness that they will send him to Chilled Hospital, all expenses, and compensation will be paid to him. The prince says that there was no need to voice it cut off, asks what made him follow someone else's bride, and why His Highness is dressed in a woman's outfit. The prince claims that he himself knows that he loves practical jokes. In any case, the lady will pay for trying to put him into eternal sleep and dressing him in a way that concerns the honor of the imperial family. At the same moment, someone else approaches the young son of the emperor and asks if he is okay. The guy at the same moment asks if it is Lady Clare. The woman leans towards him and claims that His Highness needs immediate assistance, to which he replies that he can't even move from the spot. The lady tells him not to worry, and that he can go and take it off, after which she actually touches her earring. At that very moment, these two begin to disappear, and the main character is shocked to realize that they have disappeared. The girl thinks that such is the power of the airite crystal contained in her earrings. More than anything in the world, Clare dreamed of freedom, so the crystal given to her gave the girl the ability to teleport. At this time, one of the knights tells Lady Dane that she needs to go with them to the interrogation chamber. The law states that if crimes are committed against the imperial family, she must remain in custody until the results of the investigation are announced. After this, the main character says goodbye to the Duke, and he asks her not to worry because everything will be resolved in an instant. The Duke takes the lady by the hand and she begins to hear his thoughts again. The brunette thinks that he will see to it. Amelia realizes that now she is even glad that she can hear his thoughts. The emperor is in his room with other women at this time. At this time, someone turns to His Highness and asks if he can come in. The man wonders what's going on. The whole ball is over. He's busy now. The servant claims that Duke Child is asking for an audience. The man immediately rises from his seat and a little while later is already sitting on his throne. Kyle apologizes for disturbing the son of their empire at such a late hour. The emperor says that he is even embarrassed to hear such a flattering compliment from the father of the continent, or better yet, the whole world. He also claims that he was told about the incident that happened between his beloved and the prince. The man may not worry and basically forget that something like this took place. He also thinks that people are brought back to Childa hospitals almost from the other world, so his son will definitely not become a eunuch. At this time, the Duke says that this girl is not his beloved but his fiancée, and simply forgetting is not included in the list of laws of the empire. The emperor is interested in why he wants to say this, and he doesn't want to send her to the Western Tower, so what does the Duke want to ask for? The guy claims that breaking the law will not save her honor, so he asks to change the law. And he also wants the emperor to propose a bill right now, within the framework of which he will renounce his privilege to assign punishment to those who have committed a crime against the imperial family. This is the only way she can officially be released from custody and live at home while the investigation is ongoing. The man immediately screams that this is impossible because it is impossible to cancel imperial privileges because of one single incident before, and besides, it is completely unclear how the cover-up will react, even if the imperial faction agrees. The brunette suggests that he not worry about the aristocracy. All that is required of him is to propose a bill. The man thinks that this is true, but the tempera faction is people close to the emperor by order of Childs. And the aristocratic faction is people elected by representatives of the aristocracy by order of Childs. Both of them obey him, so Garnet says that in addition to the imperial privilege, he understands that there is one reason why Killian Child, in whose hands the entire empire, did not take the throne himself. The brunette asks His Majesty how he thinks his child will be as beautiful as his bride. The problem was precisely in the continuation of the family line, because earlier Killian did not want to have children, but now the Duke says that imperial privileges mean nothing if there is no imperial family. The man immediately rises from his throne and shouts that he will propose a bill right now, and let the Duke gather the cabinet of representatives. At this time of year, the powerful in prison ask Lady Amelia for revenge, at least a piece. After all, it hurts her to see how what happened warmed her up. Another maid claims that the head chef prepared a milkshake especially for her. The main character wonders if this is really a detention cell and not the rooms of the estate, and she was there for only 3 hours. At that moment, the Duke enters the room and asks if the lady is okay. When he touches the lady, she listens to his thoughts. That the lady looks exhausted, so they need to let her rest in their estate. The brunette apologizes for being late, and the main characters say that it has only been a few hours since she was very comfortable there. Kyle says he's glad to hear it, but now everything is packed so they can go home. Amelia says she can't go home with him. Well, at that very moment, the guy in shock asks what she is talking about. He also wonders why, all of a sudden. And did the lady not like their kisses, or did he say something to her? The servant tells the master that while the investigation is underway, the lady must remain at home, so he has brought the one who will accompany her to the Dane house. The brunette thinks that this is outrageous and he cannot act as a member of his family. Therefore, they need to get engaged as soon as possible. The main character at this time thinks that events are developing extremely quickly. A little while later, someone reports that Count Dine has arrived. The man immediately asks his daughter if she is okay, to which he replies that yes, Kyle will take care of her. The lady also hears her father's thoughts about how this damned prince dared to offend his precious hand by dressing up as a woman, and yet he shouldn't have let her go to Duke Child. After all, he is not her equal. The main character thinks that her father overestimates her too much. At this time, the man looks at the lady's hand and asks what kind of ring it is, to which the girl replies that it is an engagement ring from the Duke. The man immediately screams out what she is talking about, after which he turns to Kyle. The brunette smiles in response to this, and the lady's father wonders if it could be from that spoiled Duke. Kyle understands that something tells him that the lady's father thinks of him as worthless. At this time, the man wonders if he really dared to put an engagement ring on his daughter without even getting his blessing. Well, the main character thinks that Kyle sent her family a letter saying that they are now a couple. At this time, the man turns to one of the servants and asks if he can have a minute. The man whispers to the servant, "What is going on, and is his daughter really engaged?" But his interlocutor asks, "What about the Count? You see, he sent them a return letter saying that he was happy with the news." The man is shocked and wonders if his wife didn't tell him and did all this secretly. The servants answer that if it were up to him, Miss Amelia would have spent her life alone until old age, so the wise countess had to send the letter on his behalf. The servant also says that he still remembers what he wrote in the report when he was a commander, and when his daughter was born on December 8th, he gave a day off to all 128 knights. But the Count says that he himself took advantage of the moment. His interlocutor says that in any case he has nothing to worry about because the gentleman is the best candidate for a husband in the entire empire. The man claims that the services do not understand the feeling of the daughter's action of legs, yet she just shines. The Duke's assistant at this time repeats that a better candidate for a husband could not be found because this concerns his manners and pedigree. The main character understands that they are chatting non-stop. Well, at that very moment, the Duke gently grabs the lady by the hand and also says that he doesn't know how he can endure a whole month. Amelia replies that they have only been dating for a short time, so let him think that they are in a long-distance relationship, and it would be great to go on a date when the opportunity arises. The brunette asks if she is talking about dating, and the girl says, for example, to go to a performance or chat while walking along the lake. Kyle is delighted with this idea, and when the main character sees the expression on his face, he thinks that it reminds her of something, and when the lady touches it, he begins to hear thoughts. The guy says the date sounds great, but thinks they'll have to dig a lake near his property. Amelia thinks that's not what she had in mind. The lady realizes that she seems to have screwed up a bit towards the end, but it has been a week since she has been living in the house of Count Dine. A little while later, Letty is having breakfast with his family, but thinks that after staying in the Duke's mega-luxurious mansion, having to sleep on a broken bed tires her. The lady's mother at this time says that she looks bad, and he asks if everything is okay. The girl replies that yes, and she thinks that she is still under the impression of what happened at the banquet. Her father is angry and claims that the Duke dared to do this to his daughter. The lady's mother at this time says that her daughter said that she loves him, and maybe it's time to stop treating her like a child, and generally refusing to open gifts from child is bad form. Let him remember those days when they first met. The man is a little embarrassed and asks if she is talking about her question whether he would like a cup of tea, and he made his heart explode. The woman says she was so angry when she found out he had to leave after the first cup. But then the woman stops and offers to pray. The main character realizes that her mother was quite defiant in her youth. And since they have already started to sort out their finances, she needs to get a job as soon as possible. To get them out of debt, however, the first thing she will do is buy herself a new bed. At this time, the Duke looks at the plane and thinks that this is great because he will have time to do everything before Amelia returns. And he will also name this lake after her name. The man also thinks that if Bertie had not dressed up as a woman, then these problems would not have arisen. At this time, someone else is standing next to him. It turns out to be his sister. The woman understands that because of this stupid prince, her Amelie has to sit at home for a whole month. At that moment, the two notice each other and the man asks what Clare thinks and whether Amelia will like the lake. The woman replies that since it will be located behind the garden, it will be beautiful there at sunset, and she heard that the lady likes to walk at sunset. The guy then asks if there are any other suggestions about the woman, and she says that it seems she likes white ducks. A little while later, the main character finds herself in the city and thinks that it is great. After all, she managed to get there unnoticed thanks to the magic cape. Since she read the novel, it is known that investments are the best way to earn money. Hail. Time is not a very big newspaper company, and it has nothing to do with Childs. They promised a good reward if the news column received favorable reviews. The girl comes inside and greets the employee and also says that she came for an interview. But at the same moment, he wonders if she is really the daughter of Count Dane. The main character understands that this is the same person who sealed the property in her house. But she heard that he was fired from the bank but didn't know that he was working there now. The man at this time asks if he really needs to interview her, and the girl replies that yes, and she saw an ad in the newspaper. It said that he was looking for the one who would lead the economics column. The man then stood up and said that then the ice girl would have to take a test and confirm that she was really fit for such work and not for cross-stitching. The guy puts some papers on the table and claims that this is a test form, so let the Count's daughter Dinah show what she is capable of. He also says that it's okay if the tasks seem false since most of the girls in the Empire couldn't handle them, so she shouldn't worry. The main character understands that this test is clearly not for someone who wants to write a column in a newspaper, but he apparently has no idea that she worked hard to earn money for her studies in order to gain knowledge. The man watching the lady wonders if she understands what is written there. He thinks that this is nonsense. Even he doesn't understand what is written there, after which he asks the lady if she wants to give up already because he won't tell anyone that she came and will save her reputation. However, he doesn't know if the bankrupt Count has any reputation left worthy of defending it. Amelia claims that from his words it seemed that it would be difficult, but it turns out that everything is just the opposite. But the lady also apologizes and claims that perhaps for someone it was difficult but not for her. The girl also sees one of the questions, and the man says that the latter is precisely an indicator of her qualifications. But he thinks that this question is beyond Mrs. Power. The main character then tells him to ask the question more specifically. After all, investments are tied not only to the company's key business, but they also need to take into account financial statements in order to understand the company's income. Her interlocutor asks what this is about, and the girl asks if he thinks that investing is no different from gambling. The main character also hands him a piece of paper to check and touches it at the same moment the lady hears thoughts. The man thinks what this little girl is doing and looks for her and supports child. He should have just gotten rid of her. Then the main character sees the guy swinging, but at that very moment the lady dodges and then lays him down on the floor. Amelia claims that there is no need for cruelty. After all, she wasn't talking about him. The guy immediately screams for the barbarian to be with him. But the main character replies that he started it and asks why he is so agitated because she was not talking about him. But at the same moment, someone claims that it was he who made this test when the main character turns around. Then he sees a man of completely unremarkable appearance. He turns to Paul and claims that he saw everything. After which he asks if it is possible to treat their guests like that. The man smiles menacingly and says that Paul is fired. The guy immediately screams out what he is talking about, and the boss will regret treating him like that. The man says that he has no desire to get involved with Paul in dragons. His rivals have never gotten back on their feet after their skirmishes. Paul gets a little scared by this, after which everything turns around, and he curses this company. The main character thinks that he is being cheeky even when it's all over. The man at this time asks Miss to accept his apologies. He claims to be the owner of Hail Time, and his name is Albert Amelia, thinks it would be better for her to call herself by a false name to avoid trouble in the future. The girl claims that her name is Anna, and she is glad to meet him. The man then says that the test that Paul gave her, not for the position of a reviewer but for analysts, but Miss handled it flawlessly. He also asks the lady if she would agree to become a columnist for High Time. The main character thinks if they are really hiring her and answers that yes, and she will give it her all. A little while later, Ludi comes back and thinks that she didn't even expect that everything would end so well. Her salary will be fixed and a bonus is also provided. At that moment, someone grabs the girl by the hand and asks if they can talk. Turning around, Amelia is shocked and realizes that this is the same guy. The prince at this time tells the lady not to worry because he will not do anything bad. Amelia understands that this is definitely the prince, and does he really think that he has disguised himself well? People start running there and think that since he didn't give his name, it would be better for her to run away from there as soon as possible. At this time, Bertie asks if she is serious because he can't run after her because of her own fault. But after this, the main character turns around and says that she has no idea who he is but asks what he needs. Her interlocutor replies that he cannot tell about it there and suggests going somewhere else. A little while later, the main character sits in front of a piece of cake. People understand that she already thought that he would kidnap her and imprison her in the palace. But it turned out that they came to a dessert cafe, and it was not for nothing that the author portrayed him as a comic character in the novel. The guy claims that the prince asked him to ask her about something, but the main character thinks that he is the prince. The guy immediately slams his fork on the table and asks why Amelia Dine agreed to get engaged to Killian Child. The girl replies that she doesn't understand what the question is about, and the guy says that she is from the aristocracy and therefore should know what rumors are going around about him. And the lady clearly has something in mind. Judging by how she harmed the prince, it is highly likely that she married the Duke in order to pull off this little deal, or it could all be about money. Amelia wonders if he thinks she had some other motive for getting engaged to Kyle, a motive similar to his since he uses Kyle when he needs money. The main character asks if she can tell the messenger prince something, to which he says yes, let the people tell him about their true motives. Amelia claims that the Duke is not a thing or a money bag because he is a person and he has feelings that can be hurt. Bertie is surprised by this, and the girl says that it is wrong of him to consider him a rich monster. At this time, the guy is interested in what she wants to say, that she loves this monster that is Killian Child, to which the girl replies that yes. The prince asks if she is telling the truth, and the girl nods and says that he is dear to her, after which the lady gets up from the table and says that if there are no more questions, she will go. At that time, the Duke was sitting in the same restaurant and heard all this. He understands that he came there to follow the prince. Well, it turned out that Amelia was there, and he didn't expect to hear that. The girl always pretended not to hear his confession of his love. However, it turned out that she thought of him completely differently. A little while later, the brunette was walking around his office, after which he grabs his jacket and realizes that he can't wait any longer. Kyle thinks that he couldn't visit her, and only sent gifts, because he thought that the Count would not be happy to see him, but he would like to convince her through the window and make sure that the lady is doing well. A little while later, the man finds himself in front of the mansion and asks the gentleman with a bow not to delay if the miss invites him for tea. In the Dine family, this course of events is a kind of historical tradition and a plot in which the Count finds his beloved. The brunette at this time smirks and thinks that it's as if he began to reject Amelia's offer to drink tea. At this time, the guy goes further, and looking at the lady through the window, he thinks she is sleeping. But at that very moment, he sees a girl approaching the window and immediately waves to her, but the main character only turns around and leaves. Kyle is surprised by this and thinks that he imagined that their eyes met. He also wonders if she decided to pretend that she didn't notice him, and maybe he imagined all this. So it's time to go back. Well, at that very moment, the brunette hears someone addressing him, and when he turns around, he sees a girl with a smile on her face. Kyle immediately goes up to her, and he wraps her in his jacket, asking if she is frozen and why she is not asleep yet. The girl replies that she couldn't fall asleep without him and that her parents' bedroom is on the first floor. So she had to climb down the ladder by the window at the back of the house, which took a long time. Well, when people look at the guy's face, they are shocked and ask why he is crying. Amelia wonders if he's frozen, but when such a handsome man cries, it looks very beautiful. Amelia also asks if he wants to come in for tea, and the brunette is a little surprised to hear this, after which he answers that he really wants to. When the girl goes inside, she is embarrassed and thinks that she has really gone crazy again. The words in the dots of those that her mother said to her father that night. The lady turns to Kyle and says that making tea will be problematic because the sound of the water heating up can be too loud. Brad says that it's okay because he didn't come there for tea. He also tells the lady that that ladder looks very old and unsafe, so he doesn't think it's a good idea to use it. Amelia replies that she usually doesn't go down it, and it was a forced balancing act so that she could secretly sneak out to meet the guy without her parents knowing. The brunette asks what she is talking about, but the girl only asks if he is cold. The Duke replies that a little, and then the main character asks why he took off his coat. Kyle lies down on the bed and says that she knows why, after which he invites the lady to lie down. The girl sits down next to him, after which the brunette hugs her and lays her down next to him. He says that they will lie there for only a couple of minutes because he needs to leave soon, and otherwise she might have problems if he stays there overnight. The main character at that very moment hears his thoughts about how he wants to kiss her and run his tongue over her earlobe. And maybe it's just worth doing. The main character immediately rises from her seat, and the Duke tells her not to worry because he won't do anything. Amelia wonders if he's trying to hide his true desires. The girl also understands that she needs to tell him about the styles given to her by the stone in the ring, after which she claims that Kyle should know something. The brunette at the same moment says that he loves her too. The main character looks at him a little surprised. The Duke asks if she wasn't going to confess her love, after which he asks if this is not so, and asks the lady to continue, and also asks what she wanted to say. The girl understands that because of his confession, she lost her train of thought and no longer remembers, after which the lady lies back down in bed and says that it's okay, it's time to sleep. The brunette then asks if he can kiss her goodnight, and the main character closes her eyes as if agreeing with this. But at that very moment they hear some loud knock, and at that very moment they both get up. Amelia asks what it was, and the brunette replies that it seems like something fell. At the same moment they look at each other, we pour out attention to the fact that this was a staircase, but someone else in the hallway screams, "Has the ladder really fallen?" After all, it's leaning against the room next to Amelia's room. The ladder is old, but it wouldn't just break, so the man suggests his wife go and check. The woman replies that it is, and asks who dared to sneak up on their precious daughter so late at night. The main character immediately tells Kyle to hide. Kyle looks around and then finds a hiding place. At that moment, the girl's parents burst into the room and the Count and Countess ask if she is okay. The girl gets out of bed and asks what is happening because it is night now. The woman claims the ladder fell, and her husband claims they thought someone had broken into her room. Amelia wonders who would dare to climb such a dilapidated staircase, and perhaps it was a cat running by. But it is late, so let them go back to their place. At that moment, the man notices what kind of coat it is hanging on the wall and screams, "Isn't that a man's coat?" The main character realizes that she has screwed up. The father immediately asks who the hell dared to sneak into his daughter's room and even take off her clothes. He also hits the door with his sword and shouts that he will personally send this man to his forefathers. Well, at that very moment he hears some kind of sound, and the Duke falls from behind the door, writhing in pain. The main character immediately approaches him and asks if the Duke is okay. The Count also asks if he is hurt. The guy replies that no, and asks to forgive him for such an unexpected surprise. At that moment, the lady's father looks at the guy's appearance, and the brunette immediately covers himself. And she tells the Count that it was his initiative and Amelia had nothing to do with it. The main character thanks him in her thoughts for covering up, but now her father considers him a thief. Her father, trembling, asks if it turns out that he broke into his daughter's room in the middle of the night and also undressed. The main character tells her father that it is not what he thought. But the man claims that everything is fine because he supports her choice of her beloved and will not interfere with them. He desperately goes back to the room and asks his wife where the album with Amelia's childhood photos is. The woman says that he just looked through it yesterday. Meanwhile, the Duke turns to the Countess and asks her to forgive him. The woman with a smile on her face tells him not to worry. After all, her husband is a little upset, but a cup of tea will cheer him up. The main character also screams to her mother, but she only laughs. The woman also tells the Duke to come through the main entrance next time because they are family. The guy replies that she doesn't have to take his side as a lady. Well, the woman tells him not to make things up because she treats her adopted son very warmly. After which the woman leaves, closes the door, and the main character turns to Kyle and asks how he feels. When the lady touches him, she hears how the brunette thinks about the fact that he was called an adopted son. and wonders if her mother already regards him as her daughter's husband. The guy immediately turns to Amelia and offers to arrange their wedding preparations as soon as possible. After all, he wants them to become a family as soon as possible. The next morning after the commotion, the Duke had to return to his estate, which he was not happy about. And so 2 weeks before the end of the so-called test and their engagement ceremony, she came to the child's house. A little while later, someone greets Lady Clare and states that it is an honor to meet her and that he will try his best to choose the best outfit for her today. The woman claims that he will need to select something for Amelia's engagement party, so let him try his best. The man immediately says that this lady is famous, after which he kisses the girl's hand, and also says that he is glad to meet Miss Dine. The man introduces himself and says that his name is Garton, and also he will be responsible for her image as Monty's mother and engagement. The stylist asks if she has any specific preferences, and the girl replies that she doesn't really know much about dresses. Amelia understands that the novel didn't give a detailed description of it. Well, the man tells the girl not to worry and to leave everything to him. He also thinks that there is nothing surprising about this. After all, her family went bankrupt and they would not be able to afford to buy their daughter a proper dress. A little while later, the main character points to one of the fabrics and claims that she likes it better than the ones he chose. The man then says that as the best designer in the entire empire, he can assure her that the fabric in his hands will suit her much better. Well, the lady says that she likes blue, and the man said that I have absolutely no experience in such matters, so let her just trust him because the price doesn't bother her. The main character then grabs the price tag and says that there is an extra 0 on it. The man says that she thought there was no mistake there. In any case, the Duke will pay for it. Amelia thinks that just like he despises her for not understanding dresses. And besides, he decided that she wasn't the one paying. The main character says that it seems he doesn't know, but the stylist must watch her words because she has this ring, although it is too late to correct anything, after which the main character coldly says that he is fired. The man is shocked and wonders if she really just said that he is fired, and also screams that a decision of this kind cannot be made by the daughter of Count Dane. The girl replies that she has all the authority to do so, but the man screams, asking if she is sure. Clare, sitting behind, says that of course she is the future Duchess. The man turns to Lady Clare in shock, and she states that as the lady said, he is fired. The man irritably says that alas, he is the only designer of all who is capable of creating a dress worthy of child's level. The brunette then asks Amelia what the Duke would say in such a situation, and let her try to voice it. He understands that if Kyle were there, he would say something cool, and the lady says that it doesn't matter who the best designer is right now. After all, she can bestow such titles on anyone. The man is shocked by this, after which he leaves completely disappointed. Claire immediately hugs Amelia and says that the girl quickly catches on. The main character, with a smile on her face, replies that it's all thanks to her. Well, then she says, "What is there now to choose for yourself from the 3 presented dresses since the designer has left?" The woman replies that this is nonsense because there is a whole excuse of specialists ready to help with the choice. The main character then asks why Monsieur Garton, and the woman replies that it is her fault. Claire realizes that the girl learns to fire people better through practice and that she will have to pay that ignorant designer. The main character, hearing the woman's thoughts, wonders if she really did this on purpose so that she could learn. A little while later, the long-awaited day of the engagement ceremony finally arrived. The main character thanks everyone and claims that they made her a beauty. The maids immediately say that the miss was already beautiful and she looks stunning. The girl understands that there is little time left before the ceremony and says that she will go for a walk to get some fresh air. At the same moment, someone in the garden looks around and jumps from one bush to another. Amelia, seeing this, immediately hides behind the building and wonders what the prince forgot there. It is quite natural that he was invited, but why is he behaving so suspiciously? At that same moment, the lady sees the prince putting some letter into the mailbox. Amelia wonders if this is an invitation that indicates a place where only Kyle will show up and they will laugh at him. But then she also thinks whether events are developing too quickly, because according to the novel, this should have happened in a year, and the girl wonders if everything has changed because of her. When the guy leaves, the main character approaches the mailbox. Looking at it, the girl thinks how to get this letter because her hand clearly won't fit in there. At that very moment, the butler appears behind her and asks if something has happened. He also asks if the lady dropped something in the mailbox, and the girl nods. The man tells her not to worry because everything that is thrown at him moves through the pipes into the office so that the servants will find that it is missing. The girl says that it's great, after which she asks how quickly the letters are delivered to Kyle. The man replies that it depends on the one who sent him if it is a member of the imperial family. That letter will arrive immediately. A little while later, the brunette already approaches the prince and says that here he is. I wonder what this menacing appearance is because it looks like he wants to tear someone to pieces. The young man also wonders if Amelia really told him something, and when the brunette takes out the letter, the prince wonders if this is really what he sent. The Duke tears up the letter at this time, which shocks the guy. Kyle claims that he knows. That birdie perceives him as a money bag, but it doesn't bother him, after which he even throws the letter at the prince. Birdie is surprised by this and asks what he is doing. The brunette claims that what he told his fiancée was already too much. The prince then only swallows and believes that he heard everything, but he and Amelia were just joking. The brunette tells the guy not to be familiar with his fiancée's name and also not to approach or contact her. His interlocutor says that the Duke has simply gone crazy. Well, damn, he claims it. What can you hear now from a person who uses it as a money wallet? It's quite ironic. The prince says it's very rude, but the brunette bends down to him, and he says that the guy knows how the childs do business, and if you think about it, what good did he do? The prince feels goosebumps running down his spine, but at that very moment someone screams out to Kyle. It turns out to be the main character, and the brunette immediately turns around. The prince at this time asks him to wait, and he says that this quarrel concerns only them, so he is interested in whether this will affect the imperial budget. The brunette then asks the prince if he can starve his guard dogs, and if he wants to be one of them, then let him disappear from his sight before Amelia gets there. At the same moment, the main character runs up to the brunette and he asks if she was in such a hurry. The girl replies that yes, she heard from his voice that he was there. Kyle asks if she misses him. The girl replies that she would like to see the lake. The lady understands that the prince has left, so there is no need to spoil the mood of the wedding celebration. The brunette at this time agrees and offers to go, and much time later they already find themselves near a beautiful lake. Kyle asks how the lady is, and the girl replies that it is beautiful, so she is interested. Was it really named after her? The Duke replies that, of course, and thinks that thank heavens she liked it. When they have a child, he will create a lake with his name in his honor. The main character at this time hears his thoughts, and in her thoughts asks him not to even think about the second lake. The guy once again turns to the lady and claims that this lake will always be there so she can admire it whenever she comes there, and the brunette asks her not to forget about it. Why did his expression change as if they were going to part tomorrow? The lady wonders why he said this. Let him not worry, because she will always be by his side. But at the same moment, the brunette kisses her. I wonder if the girl agrees to be with him or if he is dreaming all this. She said she wouldn't leave, so he thinks this is their reality now. Amelia thinks it feels like it's actually a dream. But then the girl also remembers that she didn't ask him about the most important thing, and the lady says that it seemed to him that he was recently talking about something with the prince. At this time, the brunette is wondering whether he should tell the lady about this dog, and the main character thinks that he already wants to tell about the dog, not about the invitation. He also claims to be rather curious about what they were talking about. Maybe it was about dogs. He wonders if she heard, and if she had good hearing, then... He also claims that he is thinking about getting a pet. The main character immediately claims that it is expensive and she could walk with him. Wash and iron every day. Well, then the guy says that he almost forgot because he is allergic to dogs. The girl wonders if it's an allergy or just jealousy, but in any case it seems like he didn't receive an invitation. A little while later, the two are already standing at the engagement ceremony. The Duke tells the girl that from now on, she is his wife. Amelia understands that this is how she married the destroyer, and after the wedding ceremony, she officially moved into the Duke of Child's house. The servant at this time asks for forgiveness for distracting her from the meal, but claims that he received a letter from the imperial family. The main character immediately turns around and wonders if this is an invitation from the prince. Well, when she sees the servant approaching Clare, she sighs and realizes that it is for her. The woman begins to look at the letter, and the main character asks what is in it. After which she touches the lady and hears her thoughts about the banquet for single women where their problems will be discussed, and here is this senile old man. However, the genius is still angry while Amelia is around. The main character understands that this is an invitation to a banquet for single ladies of the capital, and the woman will certainly go there. Vanessa, the main character of the novel called Sign of Destruction and Consequences, is dedicated to all the events simply because she liked parties. And if there is a chance to meet her there, she will go too. The girl lives here and makes sure that the emperor arranges the fall, and she would like to go there with Clare. The woman says that the lady cannot go and she will go alone, but the main character says that she wants to go with her sister. When Clare hears these words, she says that a lady can do whatever she wants, and the main character thinks that this is a victory. Then she turns to Kyle and asks if she can... The brunette apologizes but says no. The main character says that no one will hurt her there because she is the wife of Killian child himself, and she will soon become the Duchess of Chilled, so the girl asks if he doesn't trust her, but she wanted to brag about her husband to the other ladies. At this point, the brunette is embarrassed and realizes that she called him husband, and also says that since the wife wants it so much, she can go. The main character smiles warmly and thanks him. The girl also thinks about Vanessa Maid. She realizes that in the novel, the woman is the leader of the best group of mercenary soldiers called Aretis. When the war began, Kyle hired her, and the woman brought the destruction he craved. Since she is the heroine, she was rather disappointed in Aretiste and stayed with Kyle. Well, the main character thinks that it doesn't matter because her marriage turned the story of the novel upside down. However, it is still necessary to meet her at least once. A little while later, she heads to the banquet with Clare. The woman asks if Amleia will wait for her there for a bit, since here she can talk to the old man, to which Leodin agrees. At this time, someone else approaches the girl and asks if she is the daughter of Count Dane. The main game does not greet her and asks if this is the summer daughter of Count Rhine. The woman then congratulates her on her engagement, and the main character thanks her, but claims that she is looking for a lady with long blonde hair. Her interlocutor claims that she heard the Duke gave her a luxurious gift and is interested in whether this is true. Amleia replies that yes, and it is a lake, after which she asks again if she has seen anyone with blue eyes and just like a lake. The woman says that people are probably worried about having a son. Since the Duke has gifted her so much, she better start now, otherwise Dad will get into trouble. Amleia asks her to forgive her, and also understands that by world standards she got married late, although she is only 24. Her interlocutor says that they just started talking, and asks if the lady will tell him what very interesting stories he has about the Duke. The main character understands that at first she did not understand why she was running into rudeness, and claims that there was something interesting to tell Lady Rain, whom no one had ever asked to marry. And now Amleia understands that this girl is in love with the Duke, so the main character asks if she wants to know about their first night together. All the girls immediately get embarrassed and wonder if she's talking about the first night. Amleia claims that evening outside the window, it was cold and also windy. Well, the girl understands that in fact she got drunk and attacked him, and then lost consciousness. But now she says that evening when their eyes met, everything around seemed to shine and they headed to the hotel. One of the people asks if it was love at first sight, and the other wonders if they really went to the hotel right away. But when the main character wants to say something else, she notices a fly with blonde hair. She understands that this is Vanessa Maid, after which everything follows her. The aristocrat with whom the main character was talking screams that she can't run away like that without telling the story, and Clare asks the video girl where she's going. At this time he asks if Clare will tell the story to the end instead of her because it seems that she saw her friend. At this time, the woman is thinking whether she really needs to tell the whole story, and the other ladies are looking at her expectantly. One of them at this time goes after Amelia and tells her to wait for the owner. She can't just run away. Amelia tells Lady Rain that she has important business, so they will talk another time. At the same moment, the main character cries out, asking for forgiveness, after which the woman turns to her and asks if the girl is the daughter of Count Dane. Amleia wonders if she has curry and not blue eyes. The lady at this time claims that she is the daughter of Baron Gretchel named Ariana, and she is also glad to meet. Amleia replies that she is happy to meet him, after which the blonde-haired fly asks if she wants to ask about something. Amleia thinks that this is all strange, because the girl's necklace definitely has the Arita stone that belongs to Vanessa. And the blonde says that the lady has a beautiful necklace and asks where she got it from. Another lady notices this at this time and wonders if the girl doesn't know about the necklace called Harmony, although this is not surprising since she was forbidden to come to the imperial palace until recently. The lady with red hair claims that the necklace is a treasure of the imperial family, and when someone wears it, they look 10 times more beautiful. The main character wonders why Lady Greshel has it, and the girl replies that it is because the emperor chose her. The main character thinks, has this idiot really gone crazy? Is he really that shameless? Amelia immediately apologizes and claims that her question was inappropriate, but at that very moment the lights in the room go out. Some people immediately surround them, and one of the ladies asks where the knights are. Another one replies that they are all in the event hall and there are only their figures in armor there. Amelia looks around and wonders if there are really 5 of them, but she realizes that her father taught her self-defense in a different way, so she thinks she can buy herself some time. The girl turns to Lady Greshel and asks her to find a place to hide. Another girl thanks the main character, but at that moment someone attacks her. Amelia deftly reflects the attack, but when she turns to the girl she asserts that she didn't say that she would protect Lady Rain, from which she is a little surprised. The main character, at the same moment, hears the thoughts of her interlocutor, and he thinks, how is it there, because the necklace is there and Vanessa is not. Amelia is shocked and thinks if she can really hear his thoughts only by touching swords. At this time, the knight is thinking who this girl is because they are the only invited aretists. The main character reflects the attack and thinks why they came there. The man with red hair screams at this time, after which he asks Lady Dane to hurry and put him into eternal sleep. The main character then claims that she gives Lady Rain 1 minute to apologize if there is anything to apologize for, or she can give her at least one reason why she should protect her. The girl then apologizes and claims that her young age is to blame. Amelia claims that she is not much younger than her, so there is no need to erase it there. The girl immediately screams that she is sorry that she will not do it again, and so asks to be saved. The main character understands that most likely she will no longer run into a skirmish with her, but these knights, although she will not be able to defeat because she is now alone. But the girl understands that she can resort to trickery and claims that she knows that these guys are from the Aretists. The guy screams out where it's from, and the girl understands that this is all because she can read his thoughts. The main character claims that her father is Count Dine, that is the legendary commander and the reason for her invincibility. At this point, the conclusion is that her father is really Count Dane, and she steps back a little. The main character, seeing this, understands that she has weakened her defenses, so she can try to knock him down. The girl mentally thanks the guy for putting himself out there, after which she even hits him in the leg, and also throws him to the floor and asks who will be next. Another knight immediately runs up to the lady, but when they cross their blades, the man wonders where she learned to fight like that. And maybe she has an arite stone that helps to kill in battle, in which case it will be problematic to defeat her. The main character wonders if this is true and claims that she is one of the Emperor's close associates who has a arete for battle, and she is not so easy to defeat. At this point, the knights hesitate a bit and then turn around and run away. The main character then says that it was simple and thinks that they were saved, and all this thanks to a lie. One of the ladies turns to the Count's daughter and asks if she can call her by her first name from now on. But the main character replies that there is no estate and no familiarity can be allowed. The other lady at this time claims that they are safe thanks to Lady Dine, but when the main character looks at the girl, she is surprised and then asks, "Where did her necklace go?" Lady Greshel asks what she is talking about, but at the same moment, one of the knights tells the 3 of them to stay put. He calls all 3 girls by their names and nicknames, and then claims that they are under arrest in connection with the disappearance of a necklace called Harmony. A little while later, the main character thinks that who could have imagined that she would end up in a cell again, and especially under the pretext that she provoked those scoundrels. At the same time, another lady claims that she did not touch the house, she had never seen it before, and she also wonders if they really want to accuse her of theft. Amelia understands that it seems they arrested everyone who seemed more suspicious, but when the main character looks out of her cell, she sees blonde hair and blue eyes. He realizes that this is the same girl and then opens the door from his cell. One of the knights tells the miss that out of respect for the Duke, they did not lock her cell, but the lady is not allowed to walk around freely. The girl replies that she is embarrassed by the fact that others are treated differently, and apparently they have a shortage of free cells. After which, she grabs one of the people by the hand and says that for this reason she will share her cell with her. The knight then asks if the lady is okay with it, and he will only need to fill out a form, after which he asks the lady to state her name. The woman claims that she is Vanessa Brande, and the main character understands that she has been found after all. A little while later, the two are locked in a room and Vanessa asks where all these things came from because it's amazing. She also says that the lady is an important person since everything was arranged for her. Amelia wonders in surprise if she really just died. But in the original, this girl is modest, kind, and open, so she must have misheard. Amelia asks Vanessa if she would like a cup of tea, to which the girl replies that she should bring everything she has and that she had already had lunch, but as a commoner, they gave her almost nothing to eat at the party. The main character says that if so, then why is she talking to her from top to bottom? To which the girl replies that her interlocutor says that the lady would fall over. There is no concept of hierarchy in prison. Amelia, and that they are in a pre-trial detention cell, but her interlocutor only spits something at her, after which he is still interested in how the lady answered like that. The main character realizes that she spat gum at her and showed her middle finger. But in place of this girl, there should be a good-natured heroine. These with light hair, Watertime begins to eat cookies. The main character, noticing this, immediately turns to her and asks what she is doing. But when she touches this girl, she thinks that some lady prevented the Arides from stealing the necklace, and that's just laughable. Also, the refugee didn't get the necklace, so she doesn't even know where else to get the Aride stone. After all, she will only work as Aratistos until the end of the month. So the whole plan went down the drain, and without a necklace, she won't be able to hook up with a rich, handsome guy. The girl also pushes Amelia away and tells her not to touch her because she irritates her. Hello, as she immediately screams, "What's wrong with her manners?" Doesn't she think that the States girl Wiki is the main character of the original story, but her interlocutor asks what the manners are for if she dies of hunger. Only the rich and aristocrats care about such things, but at that moment Vanessa grabs the girl by the hand. She sees that the girl's ring has the child symbol engraved on it, and it turns out that Amelia Dine is in front of her. Raised from rags to riches, Amelia thinks she's the one and that this bitch has no chance. Vanessa immediately changes her behavior and asks the Count's daughter Dinah, excuse me, and also thanks her for sharing the cookies because they are delicious. The girl also draws attention to the lady's hair, in which there is chewing gum, and then even suggests cutting it. After all, the hair still needs to be shortened, otherwise the ends are already split. The main character is shocked and wonders where she kept the blade. Vanessa cuts her hair, and the main heroine understands that she didn't even give consent. The lady with the blonde hair claims that even the lady's hair is beautiful. Well, at that very moment, the girl thinks that since the necklace turned out well for me, she will treat this rich woman. Vanessa immediately turns to her darling and asks why she was brought there, and also asks to allow her to fix her hair. The main character just turns away and tells this girl not to call her darling because she fought off the Aretices defending the necklace, but she was arrested on false assumptions. This is a misunderstanding and nothing more, so she will be released soon. Vanessa understands that it was her fault, that nothing worked out for her, and that it was really the girl who fought off the Aretists, and is actually not as fragile as she seems. After which, the girl completely understands that she will need to suck up and tells Lady Dine that everything is ready. At the same moment, someone turns to Amelia Dine and says that she has a visitor. It turns out to be the Duke, and the man asks if everything is okay with her. The main character is almost crying at this time, after which he jumps on Kyle with hugs. The brunette asks how she feels and understands that although he is glad that the lady hugged him, Amelia at this time thinks that she wanted to give Kyle to this snake. After this, the main character turns to the guy again and says that she will never give him to anyone. The brunette replies that he is glad to hear this, but still thinks that she wanted to say that she would not give him up in principle to anyone because he is hers forever. She was cleared of all charges, so they can go home and just need to get a couple of papers. However, the brunette then asks what happened to her hair. Amelia replies that there was a small incident. So now she needs to go sort out the papers and go home. The girl understands that Vanessa may be evil, but she can't have the main character of the novel put the main character into eternal sleep. A little while later, one of the knights suggests that the lady fill out 2 more pages. At this time, the brunette says that he should be taken to the cell where Amelia was while he waited. A little while later, the Duke is brought there, and Vanessa immediately gets up and also says what part to meet with the Duke. The lady introduces herself and thinks how lucky she is because he may be married, but brothers have a tendency to fall apart. Well then, the lady thinks why he is staring like that in the presence of such a beauty as her, after which the girl notices the hair on the floor and realizes that he is looking at it. The girl immediately stands in front of this hair and says that honestly she is flattered to meet the gentleman. The girl wonders if her beauty has captivated him, but her interlocutor at this time is wondering how the lady dared to do this to Amelia's luxurious hair, and also whether it is worth putting her into eternal sleep. But then the man thinks that he can't do this because Amelia is kind and won't allow this, and there will also be problems if she finds out about it. The Duke at this time tells the guard that he has a special request for him. Vanessa understands that he wants to help rescue her from their being enchanted by her beauty. Well, the man just says that this girl should be thoroughly checked, but he is surprised for some reason. The brunette claims that he can see her true motives. Vanessa asks what he is talking about, and the man is interested in what she did with his fiancé's hair. The girl is a little surprised by such a question, and the Duke leaving warns her that if something like this happens again, she will not get away with it so easily, so she should not even dare to approach her again. After which he leaves completely, leaving the girl alone. He approaches his wife and asks if she has finished with the papers. The main character replies that yes, and thanks him for coming, and the guy claims that the carriage is already waiting for them. Amelia understands that at that time she did not yet know that the first meeting of the main character and the heroine in the novel was worse than ever. A little while later, the main character tells the servants that she will be back soon, and the coachman wonders if the miss is heading straight to the palace. The girl asks if they could stop by the central market on the way. Amelia realizes that she is expected to be questioned regarding the missing necklace. Well, she has finally finished the report for her first column, so she needs to deliver it, and when the lady gets out of the carriage, she claims that she will be there soon. The girl understands that gloves are not needed to hide the ring under them, and the cape hides her identity from prying eyes, and now she is Anna Smith, that is a journalist. The girl enters the establishment and says, "Hello." But at the same moment, she sees a lot of workers and wonders why there is such a fuss there. The leader of the VAT time comes up to Miss Anna and asks if she has finished with the article because he was waiting for her. The main character answers that yes, but wonders what is going on with them. The man replies that there was a sensation, because the jewel of the imperial family, namely a necklace called Harmony, had disappeared. The imperial family wanted to keep it a secret, but they received information from an anonymous source who was at the celebration that day. The main character realizes that the secret is no longer such. Surprisingly, its disclosure was a matter of time since the emperor, obsessed with women, invited even commoners. One of the workers at this time tells the boss that they can't find someone who could attest to the veracity of the information and wonders what they will do. The man asks if he indicated on the players that they offer any amount for the data, to which he replies that yes, and he wrote that he is even ready to sell his shares to pay the required amount, and the main character thinks that they are really talking about shares in Hale times, after which she understands that with such money she will be able to pay off her debts. The lady also thinks that she needs to figure out how to get money without revealing her identity. A little while later, she arrives at the imperial palace, and one of the workers thanks her for coming and asks if she is comfortable, to which the girl replies that it is quite comfortable. The man then claims that he asked several questions regarding the necklace called Harmony. Amelia apologizes for interrupting, but wonders if it is really that valuable. The girl understands that in the novel, she only said that it belonged to Vanessa, but seeing how they fussed at the publishing house, it seems that it is much more important. The man then smiles and claims that every aristocrat knows about him, and the girl understands that her family was not allowed into the palace because of debts. The worker apologizes and claims that he thinks there will be those who also don't know anything about him, so he asks to be allowed to tell. He claims that this is proof of the alliance with the Celtmen, a token of goodwill given to their previous emperor by the former leader of the Celtmans. It is a guarantee that the alliance will remain in force as long as the necklace remains intact. If the Keltmans learn of the disappearance, they may use this as a pretext to attack. The main character understands that this is sudden, but in the novel, this state was a military people from the north who destroyed the empire with the support of Kyle. Things are getting worse and worse. At the same moment, someone else enters the room and asks how the survey is going. This man's name is Earl Gargoyle. The worker apologizes at this point but claims that he was unable to find out anything, but his interlocutor asks if this is really true. The main character thinks why this man is staring. Believe me, his look scares her. The man then turns to Lady Dane and claims that her father became bankrupt after he acted as someone else's guarantor, and the lands granted by the emperor were seized. Their family was forbidden to enter the palace, and they were probably attracted by the jewel that no one was guarding, and the man also asks what the investigator thinks about this. The main character immediately screams, "Is he really accusing her without any evidence?" And the man replies that other ladies were asked the same questions because their goal is to conduct a fair investigation. Moreover, the emperor himself said that he suspects her more than others, and the main character becomes furious and also claims that she did not steal the necklace. The man says that if the lady is really innocent, then let her prove it by finding the culprit. She has the unlimited resources of the duchy at her disposal, and the main character thinks that they decided to make her look guilty in order to use the power of the duchy and find the real culprit. The man says that the loss of the necklace will cause a diplomatic conflict, and the girl understands that the emperor is to blame for this who gave the necklace to his lady. Bruno at this time comes out of the room and tells the lady not to forget that she represents the aristocracy of the empire, and in order to remain so, it is necessary to protect her home, so let her try and prove her innocence. One of the workers at the same moment turns to the lady and asks if she is okay, because Earl Gargoyle appeared so suddenly and behaved not quite ethically. The girl thinks that although the investigator likes her more than Earl Gargoyle, it would be more correct to say that he likes the Duke's family and not her. The main character says yes, and he scared her with his speeches, but then she also asks if the investigator could do her a favor. The man replies that of course, and he will give her a message and will also return soon.